Elimination play began today for men's hockey at the Olympics, and Canada danced with disaster. They needed an overtime winner from Mitch Marner to escape Czechia 4-3. Bad news, though, for Canada. Sidney Crosby did leave the game with a lower body injury and did not return. That was not the only overtime game, though, however, as Finland scored 3 unanswered goals to get the win over Switzerland. As mentioned, also in overtime. The morning, though, did get underway with a bit of a blowout. Slovakia took care of business against Germany 6-2. The final game today will be between Tage Thompson in the United States against Rasmus Dahlin and Sweden. Puck drop coming up here in the next few minutes. In other hockey news, the Sabres did get back to practice today. Lindy Ruff spoke with the media. We got a bit of an injury update. Zach Benson, he was being checked out today. He could, though, join the group tomorrow, as could Josh Norris and Josh Dunn, who, while we're on the ice, skated today in non-contact jerseys. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen also skated today, but Josh Greenway, he is expected to be out an extended period of time. And the Sabres injury report, it is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. While over in the NFL, the estate of Paul Allen did announce today they have commenced the formal process of selling the Seattle Seahawks, and TMZ was first to report the ex-girlfriend of Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is filing a lawsuit against him, which does accuse Rice of choking, strangling, scratching, hitting, and headbutting her over a 19-month period. And in college hoops, UB women, they're hosting Ball State just after 6 p.m. tonight, and that game can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550, now on 104.7 and 107 FM.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
Monday, Tuesday, hump day is halfway. It's Mike Schopp.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And the Bulldog.
Hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
On WGR.
Hump day!
Sports Radio 550.
Okay. So you have the TV right this time? Bulldog is the TV driver.
What is it with this time?
Well, you've struggled for a few days.
I think the TV is struggling. I'm not struggling.
Oh, okay. Blame the equipment.
Operationally, I've done nothing that should have landed us on an event. The problem was that the event was not where it was scheduled to be on the guide.
What's up with that?
I don't know. That's not my area.
So it was hockey games the last 2 days.
Right.
And neither was that interesting. Is that maybe why they didn't flip to it?
I guess maybe.
Is that still what you do, is flip to it?
What happened Monday, there was a women's game, I think. Monday when we got in here. And
Canada and somebody, and it was not close.
And the guide said it was going to be on whatever channel, starting right at 3:10.
Right.
So we're sitting here, and we get into the first segment, and it's like 3:15, and I'm looking up. There's no hockey game on. This happened in a men's game because Italy scored
yesterday.
No, it was Italy and Canada. Italy went up on Canada 1-0. This was last week even in the prelims, and I'm like, Italy's not going to have a chance against Canada. But the game was already 10 minutes old, but it wasn't on where it was supposed to be on, and Zach told me Italy's already ahead of Canada 1-0. So there've been struggles. I don't want to own it because I feel like I did everything right, but it just didn't get a good result.
Well,
but anyway,
the game is yet to start. USA-Sweden men in the quarterfinals, and they're not going to show us Mono Bob over this.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
This is on NBC?
I came in here while Brad and my son Owen, which isn't weird at all, were in a break at 2:30 to make sure. And it was a good thing because the TV was blank. They couldn't figure out. The Fire Stick had been going, but whatever was on the Fire Stick had ended, so they just had a dead screen. So I came in and got it set up to handle the cable box and then looked at the guide.
Listen to these terms.
Where's the hockey game?
Fire Stick.
And I went to USA first, and they had, I don't know if it was Mono Bob or what, but something else was going to be on. And I thought, let's Team USA. Maybe it's on NBC. And sure enough.
Fire sticks and cable boxes and monobobs.
Yeah.
All kinds of terminology being thrown around.
Yeah, I'm watching pregame warm-ups. We just saw Kenny Albert and Ed Olczyk on our screen, so we know the announcers are there, which is nice.
Those are that's the one duo, I think, that's actually in Italy.
Yeah,
for hockey.
For the NBC. Yeah, that's right. Because Canada, that game, that thrilling Canadian overtime win over Czechia was two dudes in a studio in Connecticut or something.
That's right.
Which was kind of annoying, but
whatever. So you watched that too? I watched that game.
Of course I did. Yeah.
This is for anybody who finds this interesting. What is your reaction watching Team Canada? And that might be different per sport, but what is your reaction watching Team Canada almost lose in men's hockey with McDavid and McKinnon and Makar? Those are the three players on the ice to start overtime, and others, and then tie it and then win. Are you mad? Are you happy? Are you what?
It's confusing. I guess is one way to put it. Conflicting. I, on one hand, think what an incredible story if Czechia is able to pull this off, right? So you're watching it, and it's that's what gets your attention. I did not have it on at 10:40 a.m. or whenever it started this morning, this game, but 2-1 after one. Okay, you've got my attention. I'm here now, and so. Everyone loves an upset. This is you've said this for years about the NCAA. Lots of people have about the NCAA basketball tournament.
It's fine why it's happening, but then
Thursday, Friday, go tiny little 16 or 15 seed, but then the weekend is not as good, and especially if some Cinderella that's going to get blown off the floor in the Final Four makes it to the Final Four, ugh. And so I'm conflicted. I love Canada, and their reaction to losing is always incredible to me because they're just so upset and mad. And it turns out they would have had ample reason to be really mad. I didn't know as I was watching this game unfold that the go-ahead goal Czechia scored in the third period had 6 players on the ice, on the ice by a mile, 6 players in front of their own net defending before they went the other way and scored the go-ahead goal. And I believe, I didn't see it, but I read that all 6 of the players went up the ice on the rush and celebrated the goal.
Is that a linesman call, isn't it? Too many men?
It can be.
It could be anybody, I guess, maybe.
Somebody's got to notice it and blow it dead. And nobody did. Anyway, it's always fun to kind of watch Canada burn if they fall flat, if they miss an opportunity. So I'm kind of here for that, but I also want very badly to see. The whole point of this is to see Canada and the U.S. play again.
I don't know.
After all of the excitement of the 4 nations last year, that was the excitement of that tournament, was those 2 countries facing off. They're the 2 favorites. I want to see that Sunday morning. So if Canada would have gone out, it would have taken a lot out of the whole thing to me. So I'm glad they won. I'm glad it was exciting.
You're glad they won.
I'm glad
Bottom
they won.
line.
I'm glad Canada won. I want to see Canada and the U.S. play on Sunday morning.
Okay.
Anything else to me is going to be, why did I even bother sending these players over there?
Really?
Yeah.
It's that important that they face each other.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
To me,
it is.
Well,
you care about it more than I do, so I don't want to put my opinion out there and feel like I'm trying to sort of spar with you on it. But I don't feel that way at all. It's weird to me. I love Canada. It's one of my absolute favorite things about living where I do, is that Canada is accessible. I have family there. I go there all the time. My kids have both played, and one currently plays on sports teams in Canada. I wear out that bridge. I love it there. And everything, not that you asked, but that's political about it, to me is just so stupid. I mean, I love Canada, but I love when they lose.
Right.
In hockey. When Czech was up, I didn't know they had 6 men on the rush, but when Czech was up 3-2 with 5 minutes left, I was really hoping they would close it out. And I don't know if that lines up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I also love Canada. I used to live in Canada for,
I know,
for 3
I know.
months a year. Like I love Canada. I also like when they lose, like I already said, but I ultimately want to see them play. Like I would have enjoyed them losing in the moment, and I would have enjoyed watching and listening to and reading reactions to the loss. And of course, with the 6-man on the ice thing, I mean, it just would have been an inferno. And that would have been fun.
Those are fun.
For a few hours, and then Sunday would come, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm not really here for Finland, USA."
That's so interesting. Like if USA and Finland, say you pick Finland, if those teams play for the gold medal, that's like way different.
Yes,
for you.
Yes.
Okay.
The biggest stars in the sport are on Team Canada,
and you want the U.S. to win more than I do, I'm sure. Like, I think you want them to not only – you want that game, and you want Team USA to win that game.
Yes.
And I'm not that interested in who wins.
Yeah,
like
if Canada's going to lose, I'd want it to be at the hands of Team USA. Yeah. But I'm not one of these 51st – you know this. The politics, I couldn't care less. Frankly, if I had to side, I'd take a side. I'd take Canada's side in any beef that is existing out there. Put it over there. Don't care. But I'd like to see the U.S. do it. They have not won a gold medal since 1980. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I guess that's right.
Yeah. So I just think the rivalry between the countries in hockey. The U.S. has been chasing them this whole time, and they've had their, they won that one September World Cup thing in '96.
Oh yeah,
they beat
at the Forum.
The last time today, by the way, when Canada fell behind 2-1 in the first period, the last time they had been trailing in an Olympic hockey game with NHL players was when they lost a game in the 2010 qualifying before, heading into that was 2010, I guess.
Ryan Miller.
Yeah.
So U.S. beat Canada in the early rounds.
The prelims, right.
And then lost in the final.
Gold medal, yeah, right.
Okay.
That's the year that's not, or was it 14? No, it was 10.
No, 10.
10.
Vancouver.
It's not patriotic. I'm not painting my face, but I was a card-carrying member of USA Hockey for, quite a few years as a coach. And then, Owen, I'd like the USA to beat Canada in the gold medal game. Yeah. I mean,
and if they lose to Czechia, you can't have that.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Now, U.S. has got to get through Sweden today.
And then someone else.
And then someone else on, that would be Slovakia, who won the first game of the day today, is who they would play in the semis if they win this game, U.S. But if Sweden wins, they'll play Canada. The way the seedings.
If Sweden wins, you're done?
Well, I'm still going to get up on Sunday and watch the gold medal game, but the whole thing.
Will you root for Canada to beat Finland on Sunday if that's the game?
Probably, yeah.
You will?
I think. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know what's right. I
don't know.
I'm not sure I can figure out what's right. And I've had the same sort of emotions about this for as long as I can remember. Going back to Salt Lake, when the NHL players, that was, I didn't really watch Nagano because it was middle of the night in 98. I'm not even sure, living in Rochester, if I could have. I did have CBC. Maybe I needed CBC back then. But in 2002, it was tensions were high about the hockey tournament in Salt Lake. Mm-hmm. And I think even then, I wasn't sure what to do with Canada. Because I do love it in sports. Don't we all? When the big shot loses.
Right.
That's boxing, since I'm back in that era and I'm thinking of boxing right now. That's the best. I mean, in terms of the NCAA tournament, yeah, I have made the point that, good for you, Loyola of Maryland, that you beat whoever. But I'm not going to really want to watch you next time. But the tournament is different. Plus, I don't care anymore about the USA goal or a penalty. Sorry. I don't care really that much. The premise there is to get to the Final Four and have Michigan, Duke, Kentucky, and UConn.
Right.
And to me, at this point in my life, they're all the same. And maybe in my 20s, I would have liked one of those teams and not the other.
I definitely feel that about basketball.
So now just give me the upsets. it's just so interesting to me to have Canada is unique in this kind of context in sports because it should be a team that I root for. But even in curling. So what's my curling story?
They're cheating in curling, though. So
Not really. Technically, they did, but it didn't matter.
Anyway, go ahead.
What's my curling story, if you will, is I needed to watch, I fell in love with the Canadian broadcasts and really TSN and watching the men's and the women's Canadian national championships. I couldn't name the U.S. players right now, the men. I could name like one of them. But Canada, ask me anything. I'll tell you who's on Team Saskatchewan, right? And plus I've been able to go up there for a half a dozen tournaments, and that's really special to me. I'm watching today the Canadian women against Italy, and I'm just like, go Italy. And I don't really know how to make sense of that. Like, why would I root for Italy? I mean, I have a couple bets. But apart from that, why am I rooting against Brad Jacobs and Rachel Homan if they're the players
that got you into it in the first place?
Yes, exactly. Why am I doing that? Why am I rooting against Team Canada in hockey? Like over Czechia, right? Why would I want Czechia? What's that? To me,
it just is. Seeing the monolith taken down is what it is to me. And like I said, it's not always easy for me to know. Like, I'm watching the game and I'm all tangled up. I want the upset, but I know I'm going to miss it if I get it. But I still want it. I'm watching and I want to see you go down. I'm looking at the bench and I'm seeing these players and I know every guy on Canada. Like, they're on the ice and I know who it is just by how they move. I don't even need the announcer to tell me or to see their numbers, right? I mean, that's how into that team those players are all that level of play. Like, oh, well, that's Nick Suzuki, even though he's wearing 10, not 14. Like, it's easy. And so when you're that familiar with them and they're that much of a favorite, you enjoy seeing them stumble. I want that in sports, but ultimately what I want is to see a show on Sunday. And a show on Sunday featuring the U.S. against Finland and the U.S. winning a gold medal over Finland is, I don't know, it's just not as fulfilling as seeing them beat Canada.
It's so interesting.
And if they get Canada, like, they're not going to be the favorite. Like, if they were playing Finland, they'd be, I think, probably a pretty heavy favorite. But if they're going to be playing Canada, they're going to be an underdog. And so that works too. But it's going to be tough. But I want the tough. I want the game. I want the great game. I want the matchup that gives us what the Four Nations gave us. Four Nations was the best-looking hockey a lot of us had seen in many, many years because it was best on best international play, and they were all into it. And that's what I want for gold on Sunday, even though, I could be heartbroken again just like 2010.
This doesn't apply to the NFL or the NHL, right? Like this year with the Bills, the playoffs weren't a letdown to you because Kansas City wasn't there.
No.
Like you were going to watch the playoffs anyway.
Yeah.
Even though there wasn't a game between Buffalo and Kansas City, you were going to watch it anyway. There isn't really an NFC team that was such that I really, Super Bowl, fine, whatever, but I only really want to win it if I can get to beat this team.
Yeah, no.
That doesn't really work. NHL is the same as that.
Yep.
So there's something about the novelty of this, maybe.
For sure. Yeah.
I was just mad when Canada won today. That Suzuki 3-3 goal, I'll go this far with it. It's 3-2, 3 minutes or so left, and you saw the play. He comes up the ice, and he's at the red line, and everybody else goes off on Canada. And everybody on Czechia is like, it's 1-on-5. And he throws it deep, but he goes in.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to the bench. Oh, and I was mad that he didn't go to the bench. Because I thought, basically Czechia in that moment could have been Team Grand Island, New York. I just was, right. These are my guys.
Right.
And so when Suzuki goes after that puck, I'm like, oh, that's too bad. Because if he goes to the bench and it's a wholesale change, then Czechia can bring the puck up to the red line itself and dump it in.
And kill another 40 seconds of this game. And right.
But Suzuki goes in, and I had the thought, uh-oh. And what does he do? He wins the battle on the wall.
Keeps it alive, and then
gets the puck to the point eventually and makes this insane tip where it's just like, he's reaching out like this. And it hits, not an accident. I mean, it hits the one hand on the stick, I think. And it's way out here, and the goalie overcommits a little bit, and he tips it in, and they tie it. Like, oh, really? That was, for me, watching one of my teams lose that lead. And I was mad about it. And I just don't understand really what that is. I've never been to Czechia.
Right.
I have no connection. I mean, I have Slovak in my family, not Czech, and I think that makes it even more
That's right.
anti-Czech.
Yeah.
I don't understand why I wanted that.
Yeah, I can't tell you in the moment. Well, I mean, I can, but it doesn't make any sense. I was also mad, and then I wasn't, and then Nate just gets a breakaway near the end of regulation. And like, oh man, he didn't score. Oh, too bad. Good. It comes like that fast. That's what I mean. Like, it's not. I don't know what the hell I want. Like, because the upset is appealing to me, and seeing Canada, listening to them cry and complain and be mad and everything there's a lot there. But I don't hate them. Like, I don't have animosity toward the individual players, really, certainly not the country, but yet I love to see them upset about losing.
Well, we're mostly the same here.
So I just don't know how to make really sense of it, but ultimately I still am on track to see what is hopefully, a game for the ages on Sunday. If the U.S. and Canada both can, the U.S. has got to win 2 more games now. Still, they're still scoreless halfway through period 1 here with Sweden.
Yes, they've managed to play through our conversation.
Yes, they're not distracted by us trying to figure out why we root against Canada but also love Canada.
I think the only real difference we have on this is that the tournament or the spectacle, whatever it is, means more to you. So you only want this a certain way. Like, you only want all of this. You literally said, if it's U.S. versus Finland, why did we even go?
Yeah.
And that to me is incredible. But neither one of us can understand why we want Canada to lose. And for you, that moment just goes right away. It's a fleeting thought.
Right.
And for me, it's not quite that. It lingers longer. But also, like there always is with sports, you want it to be interesting to talk about. And that much is true when it comes to Canada. Like in this tournament, for example, where you want to have them to talk about. And once they're eliminated, you don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Who is your least favorite sports team ever? I have a guess.
Least favorite sports team ever?
Who is the team that, if you were to think of it or you were to hear it mentioned, that would just make your skin crawl the most? Is there a team like that?
I mean, there's a list, obviously, but I think if I had to, without laying out all of the criteria, I'm just I'm trying to process a bunch of different criteria all at once and spit out an answer for you quickly. I think maybe the 06 Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay.
Because of the stake, the bad, some bad luck. I mean, Jay McKee, that certainly had nothing to do with how tough Carolina was. The staph infection, the opponent that would have been waiting there in the final would have been Edmonton, and like
an 8 seed or 7 seed.
Yeah, like that. That really still stings. Like, what are other contenders? Like any one of these Chiefs teams, probably the 75 Flyers are on the list. That might be what you thought I was going to say.
It is.
And the 86 Mets probably would qualify. But I think my answer really, if I sat down and like made a list of like, What was at stake for me, for my team, for, was it a championship? The Hurricanes, they rate very highly. They're annoying. They're in a region of the country that isn't any kind of a hockey place, and that was one of the best Sabres teams we ever saw. Even the team the next year that was a better team record-wise, President's Trophy, all that, wasn't quite, because 05-06, you only get to show up and be great once, like all of a sudden. And that's what they were. 05-06, they were sort of like this year's Sabres. It's kind of, we're a team in the league. We haven't been good in a while. And then they just exploded. And that's the best, because that's new, that's fresh. And by 07, I've said this many times, by 07, all I'm doing is thinking about how I'm going to beat the Anaheim Ducks in June. And the team wasn't as interesting to me as they had been in 05-06. So I think 06 Hurricanes are my answer. You have a quick answer to that question?
I mean, they're one of them. I might have disliked the Ottawa teams more than that Carolina team, but I thought Carolina was really arrogant through that. Doug Waite talking about Pominville and saying he didn't know who he was.
Right.
In Game 6, after Game 6. Like, I can't stand you.
Yeah.
I've never lost that for him.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what he's doing? Maybe he's going to be here in 1-3 next week or something. I don't know. But I don't know if I could shake his hand. Like, I hated him so much for that. I mean, the lame beer Pistons is probably my answer, which is maybe weird because I don't really follow the NBA hardly at all anymore.
Yeah.
And I regret it because I always sympathized with the teams that I thought were getting bullied. And in retrospect, the bullying teams were the ones who had it right. And that was that Pistons team, quintessentially.
Yeah.
Least favorite sports team ever. 803-0550. Chris Trapasso today. Later on, Paul Hamilton. We'd love to hear from you. Lines are open now. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR, and 107.7 and 104.7 FM.
Knifing through, they score! Mitch Marner delivers Canada into the semis.
Canada beats Czechia in the quarterfinals. Men's hockey. USA playing now against Sweden. No score. 5:45 to go in the first. And this is on NBC, Channel 2, right?
Correct. Regular.
Is it blacked out anywhere?
Regular old, like my parents are watching.
Do I need a subscription?
No, I think you're
to watch Channel 2.
I think you're good. Yeah,
really? Do I need an antenna?
There won't be and I think because you've got Kenny Albert and Ed Olchuk and maybe Brian Boucher. Is that the crew? I think.
I only know them by their nicknames.
Bouche, Edzo, Kenny.
Professional stuff.
Yeah. I think you'll actually get intermissions instead of like dramatic movie soundtrack music with shots of mountains.
You know, I don't mind that.
Which you get a lot in between. I don't mind it except for when you go to something that like that Peacock portal. I look, I'm old. My eyeglasses aren't great. I can't read the times even on a 70-inch TV in my living room. The little icons it says, it says live. I can tell when it says live, but if there's a time there, I can't make out the time. But anyway,
they're in order.
I know. You click on something and you get the 15-second commercial before you know whether the thing is there or not. The worst is when you get the 15-second commercial. It's only 15 seconds. I know it's not that long, said the person who works in a commercial radio enterprise. And then you get this event has concluded. Oh, I'm sorry. Why did it still say live then? You should have adjusted that sooner and kept me from wasting all of this valuable time of mine.
It reminds me of being at Disney.
How so?
That graphic or the slow motion, the drone footage over the mountains, over the Alps with the music is like I'm at Soarin'. You know where that is. It's by Finding Nemo. I mentioned this the other day.
Yeah.
It's like I'm waiting for Soarin' to start.
Yeah.
And the music is similar, and you're just sort of looking at, this is a few different rides or exhibits at Disney where you're just kind of like, you're getting this big expanse of music and movie waiting for your thing to start. So I'm nostalgic. That's what
it's just
I like that about it.
It's just a little bit too. It's a little too self-important. The music is a little bit.
Well,
much.
That's Disney too.
Yeah,
Disney is definitely.
That. Sure. Yeah, that tracks. But yeah, no. Anyway, this is just on Channel 2. Yeah, and look, the app has been great. I mean, I'm watching lots of stuff during the day that I don't without the app, I'd be sunk. I mean, a lot of the stuff isn't on, available, all of it anyway.
Well, we don't have NBC anymore.
Right. So that's why it's really saving me, of course.
I'm fine with it.
I got, in fact, this morning I got up, it wasn't crazy early or anything, but I didn't know that the women's slalom, the final Alpine event of the Olympics, was taking place this morning. And I got up, I guess, halfway through because I got up and Michaela Schifrin was in first place after the first run. This is one of these skiing events where there are two runs. So she's in first place, and the second run was just starting, and that was my, I can still watch this. Great. It hasn't happened already. And so I was able to watch live, and I got there just in time to see the final 5 racers, and she was the last of at least of the group that had a chance to win anything, I guess. I think there might have been more skiers after that. But anyway, I watched her win gold, which was awesome.
I found out about that by opening a browser tab and reading that she broke an 8-year Olympic drought, which that infuriated me.
How so?
How many years go by? How many Olympics is that?
Yeah, okay.
It's 1. So she won 8 years ago, apparently.
Yeah.
And so she wins today.
Yeah.
And she's broken an 8-year. That's pretty tough. An 8-year Olympic drought. If you only had the Super Bowl every 4 years and you win A and then C, that was an 8-year championship drought.
I'm following you.
Come on.
It is a little overly dramatic.
It's weird.
She did, though, in 22, I think she couldn't stay on her skis.
Fine.
Like, she crashed out of every event she was in 22. And even these Olympics kind of started that way. She crashed out is dramatic. I mean, she just missed a gate in one of the events. Another, like a team thing where she was skiing a slalom and her partner, Breezy Johnson, was skiing the downhill part of it.
Look at you.
Breezy Johnson won, like she was in first place after the downhill, and Schifrin finished like 15th or something. Like she'd had a bad start to these Olympics on top of having been so bad in 22 that it was pretty cool to see her, because as she was not doing well early, like the women's downhill or what? No, that was Lindsey Vonn. Anyway, when I first saw her in these Olympics, they keep referring to her as the greatest Alpine skier of all time.
Ugh.
And if all you do is watch I'm not watching World Cup skiing, on Saturdays on Channel 2 or Peacock. So
because Canada's not in
I
it.
haven't seen her win like lots of things, but you watch her in the Olympics 4 years ago, she couldn't stay on her feet. And then this Olympic started, and same thing. And so to see her win a gold after all that time, even if it, it's not every year, was pretty cool. I was glad I was there for it.
Breezy Johnson.
Yeah.
I wanted to give you look at you. Who are you, person X? But I couldn't think of a name of a skiing announcer that would have been funny.
Yeah, right. Dan Hicks is the guy on the call.
He is, but he's also golf and who are you, Dan Hicks? Would that have been funny?
It's hilarious now.
No, it's not funny. There isn't. Who are you, Franz Klammer? Who am I supposed to?
That would have been good. Yeah.
Breezy Johnson. What are you, Mr. Skiing? Who's Mr. Skiing? I don't even know. Well, good for her. She broke the drought, an 8-year Olympic drought, by winning today. Yeah. The third period. Well, now I'm just going to say this, and now I look up and there's
there
Snoop Dogg.
Right.
Third period of this game on NBC includes Snoop Dogg on the broadcast. And I think I'm Snoop Dogged out a little bit. I think I've had enough. It was funny at first, watching him in Paris, and I think I've had enough. And if this game is 1-1 in the third, and I'm you watching Olympic hockey, I'm not going to want to hear Snoop Dogg talk about it, I think.
I don't think they are. I think they're giving you a choice. I don't think he's going to be on NBC. I think it's a Peacock streaming.
I get to pick between Ed Olczyk and Snoop Dogg?
It's a Peacock streaming option. If you are so equipped, you can choose to watch the Snoopcast for the third period of this game.
Right.
But if my parents just want to watch Kenny and Booch and Edzo, they can keep doing that on Channel 2.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's how that's working.
I did love the Marner goal for what it was. I wanted Canada to lose, but I love a roofed backhand. If you can, Thompson scored a goal in this tournament like this when he was in tight, kind of lost the puck, and then ended up just lifting a backhand over the goalie's shoulder.
Yep.
That's a great goal. And if you can do that, like Marner, cutting through the defense.
3 guys, it's 1-on-3 in overtime. It's one of those, the worst guy on your basketball team lines up to take a 35-footer. You're like, no. Goes in, okay. What are you doing? You're begging to lose the puck is what you're doing. You're taking on 3 defenders, but it was one of those deals where each of the 3 probably thought the other guys got him, and he just got through.
Yeah, if you make it, it's all good.
I also, this is sort of more in line with how we were talking in the first segment. Marner scoring the goal is pretty delicious.
I like that too.
Because it's, Toronto fans, he's from the hometown guy, everything, right? He leaves, and of course, he made scored the big goal in the Four Nations last year when he was still on Toronto, but now he's not on Toronto anymore, and that specifically, I can love Canada and love watching Leaf fans be upset. And I think even though they're happy Canada won, they're probably mad that it was Mitch Marner that scored the goal, that works for me too.
Why didn't you do that for us?
Right. You're Mr. Clutch in these international things, and we can't win a playoff round with you for 6 or 7 years or however long it was.
Well, maybe this year they'll win a playoff round, Toronto. Although they're going to have to dig out.
That's right.
They won a couple, right? They won a couple.
You're right. They're not dead, but
in the last decade they won a couple.
Yeah. The playoff rounds?
Leafs.
Yes, that's right.
They're not anymore 0-4.
No, but
the playoffs.
They've won, I think, 2 first-round series.
It's better than Buffalo.
That's correct.
Maybe this year we can win one.
They are 7 points back of a wild card spot right now, Toronto.
It's not going to be easy.
No.
You know how it is. It's the number of teams.
Sure. We'll talk to Paul.
Not just the points.
We'll talk to Paul later.
It's the number of teams. Chris Trapasso, NFL Draft, coming up in 20 minutes. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR and 107.7 and 104.7 FM. It's funny how when you're trying to think of your least favorite sports team ever, isn't it almost always going to be a team that your team lost to?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned Carolina in 06. I mean, there are things that I will never stop disliking about that team. I mentioned the Doug Waite point.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Ward not being good at all and winning. Stahl and Brindamore
how about
Aaron Ward
Aaron Ward
punching guys
forearm
with impunity.
shivering everyone. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
like that's not a penalty. Just sort of Laviolette, Bauk in his face, and going to Game 5 and seeing Sabres fans everywhere with one holding a sign that said, "Isn't the race on?" I mean, it was a very bitter defeat.
Yeah, me sitting in the stands in Game 2, like hating everything about my life. Or Game 4, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Right. I mean, just that's an easy one. It's a great choice. But the Ottawa teams, I think I really disliked more. They beat the Sabres a lot. I mean, they lost the playoff series in 06, but Heatley and Spezza and Redden and Smolinski's face, like it was face for face. I mean, that team, but when you beat them, you don't really hate them anymore. You're more like Chris Neal.
Yeah.
I even said on the air a few times then that I appreciated that in the handshake line after Pominville's goal in Ottawa, Chris Neal was like stopping at every Sabres player, and he just seemed really sincere. He came across like, congratulations, a guy that's sort of spearing you at every turn. And I brought that up to Paul Gaustad, and he just, sort of glared at me.
He didn't want to hear it.
He did not like that point.
He did not find anything to admire about Chris Neal. Right. Yeah.
Right. But it's going to be a team that 86 Mets, well, you like the Red Sox. And if you'd lost to the Angels in the ALCS,
right,
maybe you don't care about the 86 Mets.
But the Mets did have there was personality there that you didn't have to really like. That sort of adds to it. But no, you're right. I would not pick them out of a lineup as a team that I really like if they had beaten, whomever in the World Series.
The Angels.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. No, that's right. The Ottawa thing to me is that, and they were more in your hair. I mean, the division rival and all that. Beating them in 06 buffers it. And the fact that in when you played Carolina, I think you have more of a leg to stand on to say we were as good or better than you. We just got hurt. And that's why, and even because I know you'll make the point, and it's the right point. Like, well, how did Tallinder get hurt? He got hurt because Mark Recchi finished his check and broke his arm. And so that's not just bad luck. There's some bad luck, but it's also, make your own luck. Go play hard and finish your check. McKee was just, some weird thing that happened with that infection. Like that, Carolina had nothing to do with that. And that felt like the straw that broke the camel's back. Whereas when I lose to Ottawa in 07, that team was not as good as the team in 06. They were down bad. They were down 3-0 in that series. Barely won Game 4 to force Game 5. Like they weren't getting off the mat, that team. Like Ottawa was just better than them that year.
I guess.
So
the games were so close.
It's just I don't have as hard a time losing that. I mean, it hurt to lose, but it wasn't as heartbreaking because of how the series unfolded. Whereas Carolina is a Game 7 with Nathan Page and
keep going.
Yeah, Jeff Gilson,
Doug
Janik, who scored a goal in Game 7. And it's Game 7. I mean, it's a tough pill to swallow, losing like that to me. Tougher than losing the next year to Ottawa, I guess I would say. So that's why I would rank Carolina ahead of Ottawa myself.
Ottawa just was a bigger rival, and they were usually better than the Sabres. Even in 06 was not. I wouldn't say it was a fluke. Both series were so close. I mean, 07 is a 1-goal loss, a double overtime loss on a shot from the point. Game 5 is an overtime loss. I mean, really, it's almost the same as 06, just in the other team's favor. Mm-hmm. In 06, and the Sabres were pretty lucky in 06. Game 1 is kind of a joke to win that. It was awesome. It's the best game I've ever seen.
Right.
But, they're just gifting you goals. And then Game 2, you steal it. Game 3 is that Dumont goal, which is awesome, but it's like a fluky bounce. I don't know. That was a better rivalry, I guess. But we're going to be bitter about Carolina.
Maybe the luckiest thing that happened there is that Hasek got hurt for Ottawa, and that's why you ended up with Ray Emery, who just game 1, there's no way they should have lost that game.
Ottawa.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
they had to lead 5 times.
He was
How many
bad.
hockey games have you ever seen where a team had to lead 5 times and even still lost? Chris Trapasso coming up after the update. NFL draft. I mean, it's been almost 24 hours. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR 107.7 and 104.7 FM.
The quarterfinals got underway in men's ice hockey over in the Olympics. The last game of the day is currently going on. The United States and Sweden scoreless after the first period. There were, though, 2 overtime games today. Canada dancing with disaster, but Mitch Marner wins it for them to escape Czechia 4-3. While for Finland, they scored 3 unanswered goals to take the win over Switzerland. Slovakia, the only team to get a blowout today as they took care of business against Germany 6-2. Though the big news for the first 3 games may be for Canada. Sidney Crosby left the game early with a lower body injury and did not return. In other hockey news, the Sabres did get back to practice today. Lindy Ruff spoke with the media following that. We got a bit of an injury update. Zach Benson was being checked out today. He could be joining the group tomorrow, as could Josh Norris and Josh Dunn, who did skate today but were in non-contact jerseys. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen also skating today, but could be back to practice very soon. However, for Josh Greenway, he will be out an extended period of time. And the Sabres Injury Report, it is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. In the NFL, the estate of Paul Allen announced today they have commenced the formal process of selling the Seattle Seahawks. Lions team president and CEO Rod Wood is set to retire, and TMZ was first to report that the ex-girlfriend of Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is filing a lawsuit against him which accuses Rice of choking, strangling, scratching, hitting, and headbutting her over a 19-month period. Then in college hoops, UB women, they're hosting Ball State just after 6, and that game can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550, now on 104.7 and 107.7 FM.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
We're up there, and here are the people on the panel, so I'm taking pot shots at Brian Brown. Because, that's what he came to Buffalo for.
It's Mike Schopp
You literally told E.J. Manuel to his face that he sucked.
and the Bulldog.
I was proud of you because
I feel like that's what you're there for.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I know. I couldn't, though. I couldn't.
I'm better than you.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
I did have what I thought was one good moment that night, but as much as I was happy with it, I'd have to always admit that the line was kind of given to me.
Oh, the roast. I'm like, what?
The roast.
I'm looking at you honestly, what are you talking? Oh, the roast open just played. Yeah, there was. I don't remember it exactly, but there was. I don't know that it was the only one, but I know there's at least one highlight that I remember laughing pretty hard at something you did.
End of the night, you had 2 couches and 3 guys were on each couch. And one would have been Deion Dawkins, Manuel, and maybe Fred. And not your dog, Fred Jackson. Maybe Fred Jackson. And the other one would have been Brian Brom and 2 other white former Bills.
Right.
And Eric is up there. And at one point, late in the game, one of our promotions assistants I was standing next to as I was getting ready to go back on the stage. I was the MC, so I would go up and introduce everybody. And she had her face in her hands and was talking to someone else from the staff. And they're like, what? And she's like, I can't believe we put the black guys together and the white guys together and separated them all the way across the stage.
Yeah. So
when I got up there, I just sort of made that point and everybody laughed.
Yeah.
And then I just walked off. But it wasn't really my thought because I don't,
You feel like you lifted it off of someone.
Yeah, the person wasn't joking.
Right. She felt bad that
Yes.
we had arranged it that way.
Yes, that it was segregated
The
like
optics
that. Just,
were, yeah.
randomly. With us now on the West Her Hotline is Chris Trapasso. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Which roast was that? Did I miss it?
Eric Wood's roast. It was
Eric Wood.
February of 21.
Was it?
No,
Okay.
February of 21. Yeah.
After COVID.
No, sorry, I got
Before.
that wrong. It's February of 20. February of 20. Sorry. Yeah.
Right before COVID.
Right before COVID. It was one of our last station events before everything shut down. Yeah, ever, too, really.
It's our last one.
It kind of turns
most
out.
recent one.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes. Bulldog wanted to ask you about Romeo Doubs. And let's do it this way, because we always want to talk about the draft when we have you. How can the Bills set themselves best up for the draft? We've seen them, and this is probably most teams. sign certain free agents. There are the guys that you really want and covet. And then there are maybe insurance policy signings. And I'm not saying Dobbs would be that, but what do they want to, in your opinion, get done before the draft to give themselves, a better chance at having the best draft they can have?
Yeah, it's a really interesting and I think very paramount question. It's just there's multiple ways to do it, I think. And me, I'll admit, having bias toward the NFL draft, I default to wanting as many draft picks as possible, wanting that cheap talent for 4 years, the upside that you can get with a wide receiver. But at the same time now, given Josh Allen's age and all the times that they've knocked on the door and not gotten there, I understand it if they were like, you know what, we're going to, again, trade a first-round pick to get a established wide receiver. To me, I think the one name, and I guess you can throw Alec Pierce in there as well, but although it seems like he's going to get an insane amount of money, I think Romeo Doubs would be like a much better than an insurance option. And I know that last offseason we were talking about the man coverage separation score for Josh Palmer, but he was never really that type of super intricate route runner in Los Angeles with the Chargers. He would get open down the field and was a good number 2 or number 3 for Justin Herbert. Romeo Doubs, I see shades of Stephon Diggs. I don't think that he can be a first-team All-Pro, 1,300-yard, lead the league in catches, but I think there are parallels to the age, the underutilization on his first team. There's even some parallels between, remember last season or 2 seasons ago when Dobbs was like a healthy scratch because he was mad about the lack of utilization in that Green Bay offense, just like Diggs had in his last 2 seasons in Minnesota. I really think he is that 3-level, super nuanced route runner that you can sign for not an exorbitant amount of money. You don't have to trade future first and a second and a third, and you can get him on this roster. And he absolutely, I would not put him myself in the Josh Palmer, Curtis Samuel realm in terms of middling free agent wide receiver that we don't want 3 strikes and we're out at that type of wide receiver. I think he can be elevated and ascend to legitimate wide receiver 1 status in Buffalo with Josh Allen. Sign him, and then it does free you up in the draft, but I still think they need to be able to use one of the first, probably 2 selections, first or second round, on a wide receiver as well.
Yeah, I think depending on what they do, if it's a Dobbs or if it's something bigger than that, obviously a bigger trade, but it's going to cost you maybe your first round pick, like Brian Thomas Jr. maybe costs you your first round pick. Let's stay on Dobbs for a minute because I did want to sort of pick your brain. Like what is it about his skill set that you think is this a number 1 type X boundary guy? Is that what we're talking about here?
I wouldn't say in the classic sense. I think traditionally they are a little bigger and they played typically only on one side of the formation. Dobbs can move around a little bit. He's over 6 foot. He's right around 200, 205 pounds. I think in today's NFL, he can be your X receiver. And just watching his career go from where at Nevada, he was that Josh Palmer or that Gabe Davis where they just threw him the ball deep down the field consistently. He didn't really do much else. In Green Bay, in watching the film over the last 4 years, the route running ability, I think he's explosive. He's sudden out of his breaks. He has the route salesmanship, head fakes, shoulder fakes. And what I like is he catches the football very consistently. He plays bigger than his size. The contested catch rate is a lot higher than you would expect for not being 6'3" or 6'4". And I think he's played in 6 or 7 playoff games. He has 3 100-yard games in the playoffs. There's only one stinker where he had 20 or 30 yards. All the other games he has produced in those big moments in the playoffs. So for me, he checks almost all the boxes that I think the Bills need on the field, financially, and what they, I think, have been missing in the playoffs, even counting the 2023 season when Diggs didn't really show up in the playoffs.
That's good, especially when you think about Green Bay being a team where there are numerous pass-catching options, and they kind of can seem interchangeable. And when you say he plays big, you don't mean that he wears that big helmet. right?
Well,
He wears that.
I did kind of mean that. Yes, he does wear that gigantic like Mark Kelso helmet that's become kind of popular.
The concussion
but
helmet.
No, I mean, yes, but he does. He plays literally bigger than his size. He's got very good, reliable hands and has shown over 4 seasons to have a very respectable to very good contested catch win rate, which that's obviously something that Bills, I think, need those receivers that they can rely on to come down with the football in key moments.
I want to ask you about one other non-draft receiver, and I already mentioned his name, Brian Thomas Jr. The thing that appeals to me the most about that idea is that there's still 2 years left on a rookie contract. So that's not, you get what you pay for, right? If you trade for Jalen Waddle, you're getting a player with a big contract who's already earned that contract. Therefore, he's established as, a certain level of good or great, right? Thomas Jr.'s been uneven. It was a good rookie year, a very suspect second year, but having years 2 and 3 and then a 5th-year option too, it's not a guy you can't even sign him to an extension if you were to trade for him right now because he's not eligible yet. And I like that you get like a trial period before committing, the $28 or $30 million to him if he, booms and becomes a number 1 wide receiver. What do you think of him and what maybe do you see that went wrong for him in Jacksonville in year 2?
In the trade market, he's my favorite option. I mean, I think you could also throw Marvin Harrison Jr. there because of the Cardinals assistant coaches that are now in Buffalo and that his wide receiver coach is on staff, like on Joe Brady's staff. Like, I understand that. But for me, Brian Thomas Jr., the fact that he turns 24 this year, so you are getting him in the as he's entering what should be the prime of his career, exactly what you pointed out. You're trading one of your probably either a first-round pick this year or next year, maybe even a couple day 2 picks, but you're getting him very cheaply. And so there's no concern on the financial side. In terms of what happened this year, I think he had some drops early, and maybe it kind of got in his head a little bit, and that they really started to just prioritize other receivers and ultimately said, hey, we're going to make a trade at the trade deadline. I listened to Joe Marino on with Jeremy and Joe this morning that referenced that after they traded for Jacoby Myers, Brian Thomas was 4th on the team in targets behind one of their tight ends, Brenton Strange, down the stretch. So I think he is the absolute best. Buy low, expect Josh Allen to elevate his game. And from Mike's question earlier, is Dobbs the classic X? To me, Brian Thomas absolutely is that type that can win on all of the classic boundary wide receiver ways, and he has low 4.3 speed that when he went for over 1,200 yards as a rookie was catching 50 and 60-yard bombs from Mac Jones a lot of the time in Jacksonville. So I think he's someone that I have vivid memories of that 2024 draft, that as he got close to the Bills, I was thinking that Brandon Beane was going to trade up for him. They ultimately didn't have that 3rd-round pick that they lost in the Tremaine Edmonds comp pick fiasco, and then they obviously ultimately picked Coleman, which was my least favorite idea. But he's someone that I think would make a ton of sense for almost all the same reasons that I think Romeo Doubs. Like, he ticks as many boxes as Romeo Doubs does for me on the free agent market.
I guess it wouldn't be unprecedented, and who knows what, how deep if there's any discord goes with Jacksonville and Thomas. I mean, there was that Travis Hunter commercial that I think I still see once in a while with Trevor Lawrence. Thanks. I mean, I was the breakout rookie, and then I got a defensive player taking my place in these ads.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
It's not necessarily selling low, but it probably is for Jacksonville. I guess it just depends on the price. That's the same for Harrison. It wouldn't be unprecedented, but it's hard for me to want to justify those teams trading those players with what the draft capital was, how recent it still was, and what you still might have in these guys. But Jacksonville did trade for and sign Myers. And then they also got a lot out of Washington late in the season. They're going to probably
have to pay Parker Washington, too.
Okay. So, I mean, situations do change, and maybe that means Thomas could be gettable.
Yeah, and I think the main difference, I mean, I actually liked Brian Thomas probably just as much as Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he gives you a little bit more flexibility and suddenness as a route runner. The difference, though, is in terms of it actually happening as opposed to just what I would want if I was the Bills GM, is that the Jaguars GM, James Gladstone, did not draft Brian Thomas. and that Monty Ossenfort, the Cardinals GM, did select Marvin Harrison Jr. So what you were just outlining, Mike, I think Ossenfort would more likely be wanting to hold on to Marvin Harrison Jr. for year 3 because he believed in him when he picked him in the draft. Brian Thomas Jr., we see it all the time. New GMs come in, they're okay with getting rid of a Sammy Watkins-type player like Brandon Beane did when he arrived in Orchard Park. So that's why I think it checks all the boxes from a trade perspective if that's the avenue that the Bills want to explore.
With Chris Trapasso, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR, also 107.7 and 104.7 FM. So when last we spoke, I think I've heard you on another one of our shows between then and now, but I've got the names here. I'm starting a list of Chris Trapasso recommended names, and we have Kevin Coleman Jr., we have Brennan Thompson, we have Ted Hurst. Is there any new information, Chris? Like, what is it right now? Is it an echo chamber? Is there any sort of not until the what is there between when we started this with you this year and the combine?
So here's this funny anecdote that I have, and I wonder your guys' takes, because I know that you guys are not like perpetually online, but you're pretty active on Twitter. Mm-hmm. I have this take during draft season that the biggest boost for any prospect is having a positive tweet written about them by Daniel Jeremiah.
Okay.
And I want to say he tweeted something about Brennan Thompson, and now every other draft analyst I've seen is like, oh, my God, yeah, he's great. He's going to be a first-rounder. He's awesome. He's Tyreek Hill 2.0. So I'm not at all that draft analyst. It's like I was first, but really what you were hinting at, nothing has changed, and we might be getting close to entering the echo chamber during every draft cycle. But the reason why, and normally I do it with quarterbacks, which I did this year, just for general draft talk, but I knew I was going to be talking a lot about wide receivers on these shows for the whole Bills media industry, that I watched like 25 receivers before anything happened, before there was any Daniel Jeremiah tweet, before the combine or pro days. And those players that I outlined to you in terms of the legitimate, underrated, maybe second round, third round, if they trade their first, what else are they going to do at wide receiver? Ted Hurst, Kevin Coleman, and Brennan Thompson, all different types, completely different types. But those are the names that I'm going to be focusing on at the combine, pro days, and just trying to gauge where their draft stock ultimately is as we enter draft weekend.
You mentioned Jeremiah, and I think in the last 24 or 48 hours, did he not? Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Malachi Fields from Notre Dame at 26.
Okay, he did mock him to the Bills. And what I would say when I watched him, and he's one that we've certainly seen these tales in the past. I think in general they're cautionary. When you watch Malachi Fields on film, he looks like a tight end. Like he looks like separation is the last positive that you would write on his game. That he is just sluggish. He's slow. He is great rebounding the football. He's listed at like 6'3", 225, and he has decent leaping ability, strong hands. The smaller corners just fall off of him. But I think I even wrote in my scouting report, I don't have it in front of me, like separation is not going to be his game in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Then at the Senior Bowl, apparently he looked dynamic, and he was making guys miss in space and was creating a lot of separation, getting open in those one-on-one drills that are, I think, a little silly. But a lot of the coaches and GMs are there, and we've heard a lot of stories about a lot of GMs, not just Brandon Beane, falling in love with prospects at the Senior Bowl. And after his performance in Mobile, that's when he could maybe be a late first-round pick. I didn't see it on film. I thought he looked like a decent prospect, role player type. But again, Daniel Jeremiah is a very good analyst. He's been on NFL Network for a long time, and he's super plugged in with the league. So maybe there will be some buzz starting up at the combine for Malachi Fields from Notre Dame being a late first-rounder. I would just, in general, be out on that idea for the Bills.
Personally, I'm hoping to see my friend Davis Maddock ascend to this sort of status where, like, when Davis says it, kind of the Mel Kiper tier.
People
He's
start.
He's a fantasy guy, right? Or is he draft too?
Well, he is a fantasy analyst, but he also really knows the rookies. Like, at least the skill position, the draftable fantasy rookies. He knows a lot. And I know one thing that he has brought up is the question over who the consensus running back 2 will be. Because everybody loves the same running back 1. Jeremiah Love is his name, right? But he thinks, I think I'm not misrepresenting Davis, there might be a half dozen second running back preferences, so to speak, around the league. Would you say the same?
Yeah, there's his teammate, Jadarian Price from Notre Dame, who I thought I was watching Miles Sanders on film. Like, he's exactly that type of player, very low mileage, bigger, pretty explosive. Jonah Coleman from Washington is like Maurice Jones-Drew at his best. Like, he's small, super stocky, contact balance. The one that I think will be really interesting because they were slightly down this year, but Emmett Johnson from Nebraska is very, very explosive and has that lateral, like, I don't want to call him LaShawn McCoy, but whenever I think lateral cutting ability to just make a linebacker whiff in space with a jump cut to the side, I think of LaShawn McCoy. Emmett Johnson from that school has that ability. So those 3 are the names that I haven't dove deep to the running back class, but in watching those 3, I thought they were good, not great, and I haven't, in scouring other people's rankings, other ideas for the running back position and just looking at the analytics, it doesn't seem like a very good or deep running back class after Jeremiah Love.
So you didn't spend the same kind of time and energy on running backs, given like us and how many times you'd be on with us, that you might have thought
exactly.
we wouldn't ask you a bunch of running back questions.
No, yeah, that, and I wanted to be able to drop the Keon Coleman comparison, name comparison, and jersey swap possibility on the first time I was on the show. When I saw him, I was like, oh, this is funny because I actually like him. He's a good separator, and his name is – and believe me, like, you guys mentioning that last week, and then on Twitter, I got a lot of like, no, we cannot draft Kevin Coleman with that close of a name to Keon Coleman. But yeah, I wanted to dive deeper very early in the process before any bias can kick in on wide receivers over running back.
I think we know from talking to you over the years, like, how you feel generally about running backs and drafting them early. With that said, do you think the Bills Ray Davis is the All-Pro even kick returner, first team All-Pro kick returner, and he's only going into year 3, but it was kind of a he just barely got used this year. Ty Johnson had a role, but he got hurt and they missed him. Do you think like a day 3 running back might be in order for the Bills this year?
I do.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. I think that is the time to pick them if you want to go as early as the 4th round. I mean, of course, there's the outliers. There's the Saquons and Christian McCaffreys, and maybe that's Jeremiah Love this year. I think he is really fun on film. But in general, I would be round 2, round 3 is about as much as I would spend, but I think the best value is round 4 and round 5. Now, for the Bills, do they have bigger needs? Yeah, definitely. But Ray Davis, I think, is a decent return on investment for a 4th rounder, and I don't think it would be crazy to look ahead and say, yeah, we can maybe upgrade from him, and in a year or 2 we're going to be thinking, all right, what are we doing? Are we extending him? Probably not at this point. So a day 3 running back, I think, could be in the mix unless they feel really good about Frank Gore Jr. stepping into potentially that running back 3 and maybe even a running back 2 role.
One other thing on Davis is he was old when he was drafted. Like, right?
Yes,
he's an older.
Like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure I want the Bills to consider drafting someone named KC, let alone Kevin Coleman. I don't know.
And how about Denzel Boston? Like, I've got
Boston
responses are like KC, Boston, or Kevin Coleman. I mean, Kevin Coleman's not getting 1st round buzz, but he could be in the mix. And there's like all these ties to failed draft picks or rivals of the Bills the last couple of years.
Where's a Smith when you need one? Actually, that's what I'm thinking, because that seems pretty safe.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if there's a Smith in this class.
We need to find a Smith. It's as simple as that. All right. Real quick before you go, Chris, if I can squeeze in one more. How many quarterbacks go through Friday night? How many day 2 quarterbacks are there?
I don't know, man. I watched 8 to 10 quarterbacks, and I love Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss. It seems like the judge in Mississippi granted him a
I think he gets to go back to college, yeah.
yeah, he gets to go back to college. Maybe 2 others. If someone wants to just totally roll the dice on Drew Aller from Penn State, but I saw like Christian Hackenberg 2.0. I would stay away. He does have major traits, but he's very raw. The one that's really interesting, I'm blanking on, is Cole Payton from North Dakota State. I think that's his name. Lefty, super athletic. At the smaller school level, very athletic. And his highlight reels in terms of his throws, you think you're watching like Josh Allen. Like when the balls that he was fitting through tight windows repeatedly, yes, in the FCS level, granted, he could be one of the other quarterbacks off the board. Beyond that, just because the positional value is there, I think we'll see maybe more than that. But to me, I think there should be 2 or 3 that should be gone before the start of day 3.
I have to say this too. I may never forget Hackenberg. We're well into the drought, and I got to a point where
for him for the Bills.
Yeah, I just thought just draft all of them. Draft. Why not? And people didn't like him, but go ahead, draft Christian Hackenberg. And there was a guy who called up, and he had one of those voices, and he basically said, "Schopp, I never agree with you, but I finally found something we agree on, that the Bills absolutely should draft Christian Hackenberg."
Oh my gosh!
I'll never forget him.
You mean one of these voices?
Yeah.
I don't like you much at all. I don't like the cut of your jib, but I'll tell you,
You're right on this one.
I like this Hackenberg idea.
For once, you're right.
Baylor ended up being Christian Hackenberg.
Are you starting to
Baylor quarterback too?
Petty?
Bryce Petty, that got late, night before the draft. The Bills met with him over dinner last night, and he could be a late first rounder. And I was like, oh my God, there was not even a chance that I think he was even worth. And I think he ended up going in the 4th or 5th round, and obviously was out of the league pretty quickly. But yeah, there was definitely a lot of those rumors. It kind of went from quarterback rumors during the draft to then first-round running backs for the next 5 to 6 years that ultimately never happened.
2 Jets, I think, Hackenberg and Petty for
good
a
call.
minute.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Chris. We'll talk again soon.
All right, guys. Sounds great. Thank you.
Chris Trapasso with us on the West Her Hotline. You have a guy yet? While we're on the draft, 803-0550. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog back after the update. This is WGR and 107.7 and 104.7 FM.
hockey, 2 games go to overtime. Canada gets the win over Czechia 4-3, while Finland, they score 3 unanswered goals to take down Switzerland 3-2. The only blowout was the first game of today, as Slovakia handled Germany 6-2. And the last quarterfinal game is currently underway. The U.S. is up 1-0 on Sweden in the second. The other hockey news, Sabres got back to practice today. Lindy Ruff did speak with the media following that. We got a bit of an injury update. Zach Benson was being checked out today, depending on how that went. He could be joining the group tomorrow. While Josh Norris and Josh Dunn, they did skate today, were in non-contact jerseys, but if today went well, they could be losing those tomorrow. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen skated today, though, on his own. He should be back to practice soon. However, Jordan Greenway will be out for an extended period of time. And the Sabres Injury Report is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. While over in the NFL, the estate of Paul Allen announced today they have commenced the formal process of selling the Seattle Seahawks, and TMZ is reporting that the ex-girlfriend of Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is filing a lawsuit against him, which accuses Rice of choking, strangling, scratching, hitting, and headbutting her over a 19-month period. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550, now on 104.7 and 107.7 FM.
My preferred method of fixing this is take 2 swings at it. One, make like a veteran addition in the DJ Moore or Michael Pittman. Vets who can play inside out, can play Z, can play X, and then take another swing at it in round 1 at the draft. Whether it's Denzel Boston, many people are saying is the Diet Coke Mike Evans. Many people are saying that. You could take a swing at him like late in the first round. If you got to trade up a few spots, go and get him. I actually kind of like taking the 2 shots at it as opposed to just one big swing.
Just like you. Matt Harmon with, I think it's Nate Tice, saying, yeah, every few seconds. DJ Moore.
Or laughing like that. Yeah, no, sure, yeah. Go get me a, go shopping at a couple different stores.
DJ Moore will be tough for me. Whether it's just in terms of fantasy, and I know this already, not assuming he'll be on the Bears, but he's under contract, or wherever else he goes. I've had enough with DJ Moore. I've had enough. I'm done. I can't say I'll never pick him because nobody's like that. That's, on the board. Mm-hmm. But every year with this guy, there's some excuse. And then last year, and I didn't really draft him at all last year either because I was mostly this way. Plus they had Odunze and then Luther Burden and running backs and Loveland. I just never wanted to draft DJ Moore. But then last year, toward the end of the season, this is for Chicago, he came on, and he was productive. But how does the season end? They're playing the Rams. NBC has the game. Collinsworth. And there's an interception. Did that game go to overtime, I think? Maybe? It was cold, and the Rams won it. And there was a play late that was a pass for DJ Moore.
It did go to overtime because, that interception was in overtime.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure because they tied it late on an incredible throw to the tight end. Was it Loveland in the end zone?
Or Komet.
Caleb Williams gave up like 30 yards of field position, scrambling around, and then just chucked it.
What a play.
And the guy was wide open. I'm going to give you wide open there.
He sort of pushes off.
Yeah.
I think it's Komet.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't think it was Loveland. Yeah. Anyway, then in overtime, there's a play where Moore... They weren't on the same page. Like Williams thought he was going to keep going or settle down, whichever of the two. And he threw it where Moore wasn't. He stopped or kept going, whatever it was. And
no, he quits on the route.
Yeah, okay.
And maybe Williams was wrong, but Collinsworth was immediately to what is he doing? Like just where is his head on this play? So that's one play. It's also, in the end, the biggest play of the year. It's their last offensive play of the year. So it's always something with DJ Moore. Last offseason, it was a clip, and Ben Johnson was just getting there. So from the year before, where Williams is there already, he's a rookie, and he's trying to find something, and Moore appears to be so frustrated that he just walks off the field during the play. Remember that one?
Yes.
He's top of the screen.
Yes.
He just walks off the field.
Yes, I remember saying like that. That looked bad.
Poor Anthony Richardson, who can't get away with having an injury.
Right.
Here's this guy.
Well, he was tired, actually, is what Anthony
I'm just going to walk off.
He was tired.
I'm not getting the ball here. How about that move?
Right.
And, for the most part, his career, people like him, but he's always kind of had that crutch that he's never had a good quarterback. And so, I don't know. It's risky to just be completely out on a guy who's as good as he is, but that's how I feel about him. I don't know if I want to deal with that. And that's also a trade, like I said.
Right.
Like Pittman.
Yeah.
Pittman, I think, that's Matt Harmon there again, and I mentioned this yesterday when Pittman's name came up. I've heard Matt, who is as knowledgeable, I think, as anybody at the wide receiver position, talk up Pittman. Because his career started with kind of mixed results. I mean, the Colts have had a different quarterback every year. That might happen again, by the way, if Jones isn't ready. How many years in a row have they had a different week one starter?
Yeah, I feel like there's been a few years of we don't really know how good Michael Pittman is yet.
Right. It goes back to Andrew Luck, I think, since they've had a repeat starter 1 year after the other. Like Pittman is like, what do we really know about him? But Matt likes him a lot, or at least he did a year or two ago. I doubt that's changed.
Right.
And so I feel maybe he can be – I'm open to that. I don't know what that costs. He's got a deal, too.
He's got a contract. Yeah, the thinking goes that they might prefer – if they can find a way to offload that contract without killing themselves with dead money, they might rather pay Alec Pierce, who's about to become a free agent and is younger, and just make the commitment to him rather than let him walk for nothing. Commit to him if they can recoup some assets for Pittman. That's a win all around.
We talked about this last night on ADP Chasing. One of our guys, Jacob Sanderson, is a Colts fan, and he expects the Colts also to keep Pierce and then move on from Pittman somehow. It's funny, Alec Pierce was somebody last year that you just never saw drafted in fantasy, and then he went and really took off with Jones. So, these are some names.
Yep.
These are some names.
I do, like Chris Trapasso just said during the previous segment, I think he and I are pretty lined up on, and he knows more about Brian Thomas Jr. as a prospect from the draft, of course, and looking at him play through these 2 seasons so far where the results are very much a mixed bag. Even his rookie year, he ended up having a great year, but Chris mentioned it. It was Mac Jones who sort of got him unlocked. Really. Yep. And so he never really has meshed with Trevor Lawrence, it seems, maybe. I don't know if that's overstating it maybe a little. But anyway, the thing, there's the ability that got him drafted in the first round. There's the speed, the size, like all of the athletic attributes. You're also buying a player only 2 years into his rookie contract, which if a team wants to offload that player, you're going to pay a premium for him because of the contract is so modest. I mean, he's a first-round pick, so it's not like he's making the league minimum. But still, any of these guys, Pittman as an example, you want to talk about any other receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. is also a draft pick, higher draft pick, but still modest rookie contract. But a DJ Moore, anybody who's established, Jalen Waddle, big contract, and I'm paying probably a somewhat of a decent price to acquire the player. Thomas does not come with the baggage of a big contract yet, and I like that about him. He's not even eligible for an extension until after his 3rd season coming up, and that would work for me because the Bills have got other holes to fill, and as much as I like going after this came up late in the show yesterday, the merits of trying to find a stud or two for this team instead of just using all your picks and hoping you hit on them and you've got value players all over your roster. That hasn't worked out so far. The Bills don't have enough, to me, difference-making players. Thomas is a little bit of like, I'm playing both sides of that fence. And I've got a first-round talent that has certainly flashed, but I'm not paying the freight yet. I don't have to pay the big contract yet, and that might really serve the Bills well if they can pull that off.
I guess for as long as that's going to be a somewhat realistic idea, it's time to dig more into what happened with him. You know, I mean, I feel like I just know basically what's on the surface level.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned talking to Mike Dempsey. He had, and what he said earlier during the season, just wasn't a fit, not a perfect player. You know, maybe he was overhyped. He did have the same yards per reception both years, Thomas, 14.7, but 1,200 yards to 700, 87 catches to 48, 10 touchdown receptions to 2. Big drop-off in production. I wonder what Jacksonville will want to do. It's not out of the question, to me, that they would try to move this player.
If they can get a first-round pick for him,
they should take it.
If they've got other guys now, which they do. I mean, they've committed to Jacoby Myers. Parker Washington is an important piece of this. I don't know where his contract status is at, but he kind of became their best guy down the stretch, and even in the playoff game, like he was the guy that I was worried about, I think, when the Jacksonville offense was on the field. So if you're them, you might think you've got, you can recoup a first-round pick. That's awfully nice to have as an asset moving forward, and you've got 2 receivers you really like that have carved out roles already with your quarterback, with your coach, the system and all that. And if Thomas is kind of a round peg, square hole, vice versa, whatever, and you can get a first for him because his value is still that good, like maybe this is the time to do it, because if you go through another year and he doesn't fit and the other guys are getting more targets and he catches 50 balls again for you, the first-round pick return probably sailed on you. So you might have to do it now. It's still close enough to the player he was when he was drafted, the prospect he was, and the good first year, even great first year. Maybe you can recoup that pick. But if you wait another year and it doesn't reestablish itself, then that's over.
Washington makes no money. Literally. He does not accept money.
Wow.
He plays for free. He plays for the love of the game. I know there was a story like last year where they offered him money. Like, look, we don't want you to be different around here. And he said no.
Typical media to not play that story up more.
I know. He decided to play for free. No, there's something with him. He's theirs. Like, he's their property. But from Spot Track, something called a proven performance escalator. So his money is like not official, I guess, but he'll move up a little bit from last year. And he ends up 58 catches for 847 and 5. Remember, he left the game against the Bills with a head injury, but he came back. It's the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
He was right back out there.
Not only did he leave with it, I mean,
it was weird.
He got hit his head either off a helmet or on the ground. I don't remember which. Got up and fell down.
Yeah, and then there was more to it even, I think. It was just sort of really strange.
Yeah, it looked like he was seriously hurt, the way he reacted when he tried to get up and get off the field, and then he went away, and I think he even went to the room and then came back.
Oh, yeah. No, he left the game and returned and then caught a touchdown pass in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. 803-0550, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Give us a call to talk about any of this if you like with us. This is WGR and 107.7 and 104.7 FM. Official statement from the Boston Red Sox today.
Uh-oh.
So bad.
What did I miss?
As part of Major League Baseball's return to the 2023 jersey template, we approved a design for our home white jerseys, which Fanatics produced exactly to our specs. Once they were produced and seen in person, we felt there should be more spacing between the lettering and piping. It's a great sports jersey word right there, piping. In collaboration with MLB and Fanatics, we're adjusting the home whites to achieve this separation. The updated jerseys will be ready for opening day. We are grateful to our partners for their ongoing support. The end.
Okay, they didn't do anything. They're trying to correct a problem that, to an extent, they're maybe owning. Like we should have specified.
I'll always blame Fanatics.
Yeah, right.
Always blame ABF.
Right.
Always blame Fanatics. Right. I guess maybe the Red Sox have some blame.
Culpability here. Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Well, please don't screw up the uniforms.
I mean, remember 2 years? Was it 2 years ago when they were all so terrible?
Right.
I wonder if they were so bad that last year I might have turned down an offer to go to the World Series had they been the year before's uniforms.
Right.
I set pretty far up.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they looked really cheap. Like the guys were sweating through them unevenly, even, and they looked awful.
Yeah, they looked like knockoffs.
Yeah, right.
Which
they,
right. A trained eye can see a knockoff every time, anywhere.
And that is kind of the Fanatics' reputation.
That is what they looked like.
Yep.
So I don't know. This could have been better if it had said something like the Red Sox. We had this plan, and the jerseys came out, and our names were on the back, and we explicitly said not to do that.
Right, we're the Red Sox. We don't do that.
The Red Sox have never had their names on the back, so the plan was not for that to start now.
At home, anyway.
We're just going to tear them off.
Right.
We'll be busy doing that until opening day. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR and 107.7 and 104.7 FM.
Inside of hockey at the Olympics, the last game is underway. The United States up on Sweden 1-0 in the first few minutes here of the third period. We did have 3 other games today. 2 of them went to overtime. Canada getting the win over Czechia 4-3. Finland scoring 3 unanswered goals to take down Switzerland 3-2. And then the early morning game today to get things underway saw the lone blowout. Slovakia handling Germany 6-2. In other hockey news, the Sabres did get back to practice today. We got a bit of an injury update from head coach Lindy Ruff. Zach Benson was being checked out today. He could be joining the group tomorrow. Josh Norris and Josh Dunn skated today, but were in non-contact jerseys. Depending on how today went, they could lose those tomorrow. Goaltender Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen skated today. He should be back to practice soon, but Jordan Greenway, he is going to be out, expected an extended period of time. And the Sabres Injury Report, it is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. Over in the NFL, the estate of Paul Allen did announce today they have commenced the formal process of selling the Seattle Seahawks. Lions team president and CEO Rod Wood is set to retire before the start of the 2026 season, and TMZ is reporting that the ex-girlfriend of Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is filing a lawsuit against him, which accuses Rice of choking, strangling, scratching, hitting, and headbutting her over a 19-month period. Then in college hoops tonight, UB women hosting Ball State just after 6, and that game can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550, now on 104.7 and 107.7 FM.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
They have this Panther sound effect that is just the cheesiest, stupidest sounding thing. Big voice guy going, Panther goal scored by Sam Reinhart.
Where'd you get that thing? I trapped it. Been keeping it in my bathroom at the motel, feeding it old pizza.
It's Mike Schopp.
If you're calm, that wondrous big cat will be calm too. But if you're scared, that beautiful death machine will do what God made it to do. Namely, eat you with a smile on its face.
And the Bulldog. On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Speaking of the Panthers, so I was watching the Finland-Switzerland hockey game today, and the Swiss uniforms kind of look like the Panthers, where they have that thick red stripe across the middle, and then a logo on top of it, like Florida Panthers.
Yeah, I get that.
And I wondered if that was an accident, that maybe the Swiss might have thought, dress like a champion. Here's the two-time defending, or whenever they would have had the jerseys, designed by. But this is a winning look. Or was it probably not that? I think it probably wasn't.
I think it probably wasn't. I think a lot of the designs are sort of similar. Like the striping not going all the way around on all of them. Like Canada's got that. But as I'm saying that, I'm looking at 2 uniforms that don't resemble the others at all here with Sweden and the USA. But I feel like Finland, Switzerland, Slovakia, there's some similarities in some of the style, I think.
Yeah, Finland also has that thick middle stripe area with the logo on top.
Right.
That's also a great uniform, I think.
And I think these jerseys, all on both the men's and women's side, they all don't have an alternate color on the collar, but if you look closely, I think even like Sweden, you can see a pattern around the neck that has room for that. If they wanted to put a big blue collar on there or something, we mentioned how the white U.S. jerseys have got this red collar. I think that feature is there on all the jerseys. It's just not a different color on all of them.
Okay.
If you know what I mean? Like there's a different cut of the fabric or design on the fabric at the neck. That's that big red space on the U.S. white jerseys for both the men and women.
I like them all.
So I think there's like a lot of the designs of the jerseys. I think there's a lot of similarities country to country. I think by whoever made them. I don't know what company is on the logos there.
Nike. I think everybody looks great.
Yeah.
Bulldog. I'm going to say that. I'm going to go that far. I think everybody looks great. It's a buyable jersey.
Yeah, I don't love all the Canada gear. There's, and I'm not sure if it's the red one that I don't like, or there's a black one I think that I just don't think really works. Their white one I think is super sweet.
There's a black maple leaf,
right?
And on the curling jackets, even there's a black maple leaf. What's going on there?
They're trying to be Darth Vader. I don't know what they're doing.
Well, in curling, they're maybe achieving that.
Yeah. Yes, maybe they are. Yes.
I'm thinking about it. Like, I've never collected a Team USA jersey or anything, but the Sabres will come back next week. And I bet you see some of these. I bet you see Thompson, USA, in the crowd.
I have gotten the impression, and I don't know that this has changed, that it was harder to get them than maybe it should have been. I don't know if that was back order stuff or
for fans.
To buy them customized was a little harder. And in fact, I think I saw social media from the Sabres, I think, with like Tage gear, and it was all just like T-shirts and jerseys, and like there wasn't an actual jersey there. Like, that I never saw an ad from them or a tweet from them that said, come get your Tage Thompson jersey from the Sabres store, your U.S. Olympic. I don't know if there's a scarcity of them or what, but I think eventually, if this team wins gold, lots of Sabres fans would want to have a Team USA Tage Thompson jersey, I would think, if they win gold. Sneaky Joe on Twitter here from our morning show tweeted a little while ago, the Sabres' first home game after this break is Vegas.
Yes.
And if they win a gold medal, you're having some kind of ceremony for Jack Eichel and Tage Thompson. I think you're going to recognize Jack Eichel as a member of Team USA. I think you have to do that. If you're going to honor your guy, I think you're going to have Eichel there with him, I think.
You can't boo that.
I don't think you can. I don't think you will.
I don't think you can.
The Sabres are good enough again. We'll see how they have one game, I think, before they play this home game, or are they on the? Oh, that's right. They were back in Florida again after they played Jersey. Right. Thank you. A week from today, they play in New Jersey, and then they go to Florida.
Friday, Saturday is Florida, Tampa, I think.
So if they are, the Sabres being good buffers the anger toward Eichel. I think.
I don't know.
To some extent.
I don't know. I think it almost makes it the other way.
Oh, yeah?
Well, we're going to fill the building now. When Jack came back those first couple times, it was more just like he got booed like crazy.
Yeah.
But it was more just like that was the only thing you were there to do. I was sitting the second time when he had a hat trick, I was sitting next to people. I hated it. I was sitting next to people who were there the whole night just to yell at him. It just seemed like the worst use of time and money imaginable. I'm just going to come here and yell at Jack Eichel, who doesn't care, probably thrives on it.
Yeah.
But, good for you. I hated it. And now I think we'll still do that. Like the 06-07 teams, there were guys, and they got booed like crazy too. So I don't know. But if it's for Team USA,
I think you
can't boo him.
What I will predict, it's definitely what I think would be the right thing to do. And I want to predict that this would be the case, even with Jack Eichel, is if I'm right. I hope I am. I would think that they're going to recognize they did this. Didn't Miller get a standing ovation in Pittsburgh or something in 2010?
Did he?
I feel like that happened. So if you are going to do that, I think you cheer him. And in that moment, he's introduced. I don't know if Vegas has anybody else that's on Team USA. I'm not sure that they do. So it might just be he and Tage Thompson that get announced if they do it the way I think they should. I think you cheer him then, and then if you want to boo him the rest of the night every time he touches the puck, knock yourself out.
Yeah, that's what would happen.
But it's Team USA, and you're not going to boo that. You're not going to boo him.
You cannot.
Because you'll be booing Tage Thompson, too.
That's right.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
He's going to have a Tage Thompson bulletproof vest on.
I don't remember. Right. I don't remember anything like that for Miller, but I assume you're right. What I think about with him in the Olympics is 2006, when you and I were in Detroit, watching the Sabres play on Versus at a bar somewhere in Detroit. And they were playing the Flyers. And Miller was not picked for the Olympic team. Robert Esch was.
And the fans.
And the fans chanted USA at Robert Esch, which was brilliant. That was really good. That's not booing.
Right.
This is better.
That was smart.
That was smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what I think of. And that's, 4 years before Vancouver.
I hope I'm right about this Miller thing, and I'm not commingling stories, but I feel like he got recognized somewhere on the road.
I mean, wasn't he the MVP of the tournament?
Yeah, it's like I don't even know if there was an announcement. I think it was just impromptu because they didn't win gold, so there wouldn't have been a ceremony like, "Hey, yay, we came in second," like that with Sidney Crosby there. By the way, like no, but I think Miller got recognized by hockey fans in a road game, and I think it was Pittsburgh.
Crosby hurt today.
Right.
That's not great for Pittsburgh.
No, it's not.
To have your guy, the guy, go down at the Olympics.
Yeah.
You don't want that. Let's try to survive this thing here. USA trying to survive this game against Sweden as we speak with just over 12 minutes to go. The score is 1-0 on a Dylan Larkin deflection for the Americans. We will keep you posted. Paul will join us at 6 to talk about this game and the Sabres being back. Most of them were back today. I was just kind of getting excited for it again this morning, thinking about the playoffs as a possibility and the deadline and everything like that. I mean, they're not all set with so many games left, and whatever it is, 25 or so games left. They're not all set, but they're, in a spot. And I'm just thinking how long it's been, and this is what a lot of fans are thinking about when it comes to them. I mean, it really is so long ago that they even made it. It's almost incredible. Well, it is incredible that any team could go
14 seasons
this long without making the playoffs. I mean, it'd be really tough to take if they were to miss now.
I agree. I have been feeling as though whenever we talk about it that they're good. They're good. I believe it. I don't think it's just a fluky run. All due respect to our buddy Greg Wyshynski with the shooting percentage and the save percentage points he made a few weeks ago when we talked to him before the break came. But losing the 3 of 4 going into the break, one was an overtime loss, but still losing 3 of 4 after that great run, you're talking about a 5-point gap right now on a pair of teams it's Columbus and the Capitals currently that are 5 back of your wild card spot. Sabres are in the first wild card spot. The Bruins are second at 69 points. And then Columbus and Washington are next. So they're 5 points clear, which is not, it's not 8. Right before they lost 3 of 4, they were, I think, 8 points clear.
I think so too.
And so it's, it's not quite half, but it's close enough. Having your gap there is a little intimidating. And Columbus has played 1 fewer game. The Capitals have played 2 more games than you. So there is that.
Well, was it Travis we were talking? Is it Travis we were talking to recently? Travis Yost, who said, or was it someone else who said that the team I would be the most worried about running you down is Ottawa? Does that sound familiar? Was it Travis who said that? Or maybe it was Greg. I don't think it was Greg. Somebody said that.
Somebody said that, and they made a point about if their goaltending comes through.
That wasn't Travis?
I don't know. Last time I talked to Travis on the day you weren't here, I feel like, recently. Was the most recent time I talked to Travis, I think.
No, that's right. I was in my car. Well, maybe it was someone else.
Might have been him. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, they're 7 points back of Buffalo right now. 63 points is where they're at.
Who else would that have been?
Yeah, I don't know. I remember the goaltending point being made.
So. Chad. It was Chad, maybe.
Oh, yeah, it was yesterday.
With
Chad. Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah, Monday was.
That's right. Sorry, Chad. It was him.
Yeah, Chad Diedeminis is from Expected Buffalo.
Here's Matt with us. Hello.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I had a point I wanted to make back in December when you guys were talking about NFL jerseys. This is out of left field. I'm sorry. I wanted to say how NFL teams don't wear actual socks anymore. They're missing the striped socks. I know we were talking about the hockey jerseys, and then I wanted to talk about that too. But there's a handful of teams that still do it. I think the Eagles, Kelly Green jerseys, the Bears, the Browns. They've just all gone to that spandex material underneath. And I don't know, it's just kind of a goofy look, especially the Bills when they wear the white. I miss the striped socks. This is my old man yells at cloud moment.
All right.
So moving on from that, the Fanatics jerseys, I was sick to my stomach when they announced that they were partnering with the NHL. And for the players' quality, supposedly they still use the factories that Adidas used, right? So that wasn't too bad. But then, I noticed immediately the quality of the jerseys, because I collect jerseys. That's my thing. And I just noticed immediately that, the heat pressing, the patches, all that stuff, just downgrade, super cheap. And then, I don't know, the Sabres, when they come back, I think the point that Chad you said?
Chad DeMinis was on Monday, yeah.
Yeah, about the shooting percentage and stuff.
That was Greg Wyshynski a few weeks ago, but yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I think that they were improving on that right before break. They were getting more shots on that, but they did lose those last couple games, or didn't,
They did,
in that last one, yeah. So, but I think they're getting back on track. There was a few games they won where they had 20 shots on goal, if that, and it was eh. But, that's all I had to say about that.
Right.
And shout out from the bullpen. So have a good day, guys.
All right, man. Hello, bullpen. The bullpen is the YouTube stream chat, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know. The thing about them, though, the shooting percentage, shot volume, they are not a volume shot team. They have not been all year. Our team, Carolina, is an example of a team that is a volume shot team, which means basically they're just throwing the puck at the net. And they've been this way for years. And the Sabres this year have been more selective about their shots. So it's a thing that I think can sort of slow down they have a good shooting percentage and it's not going to last. It's not sticky. And you did see them. I don't know about how many shots they had in the recent games. I know the game I was at right before the break, they missed the net a lot against Pittsburgh. Great opportunities, and they missed a lot, which will hurt you. But if you're not settling for just any shot, you should have a better shooting percentage, or you could have a better shooting percentage. If your shot quality is better, the goalie's going to have a harder time making the save. So it doesn't have to be a thing that really sticks to them, but I wouldn't expect them to start piling up shots based on what you saw maybe coming into the break, because they all year have not really been a volume shot team.
And Greg said the thing that I would always say back in the day when we were talking about numbers like that, almost like in self-defense, like whatever team we're talking about isn't as good as you think because the numbers say this and that, very much the same as how Greg was talking with us, I would say. But you never know. It could turn around. I mean, it's not necessarily going to be this way the whole season. I mean, hockey, what did he say? Hockey is weird sometimes or stupid or something like that. I mean, there's definitely a lot of randomness. So maybe their luck will turn in a good way. But it's fun this year to have all this for me. And this is not to say everybody would have been as disconnected as I feel like I've been in recent years with them. Just too sad. Talking about them wasn't fun. It was all just very sad and frustrating. Plus, I was spending thousands of dollars every year on tickets and not even wanting to use the tickets. It was really piling up on me. But when we were talking about good Sabres teams and getting into the numbers, it's the kind of thing that would happen is there'd be teams that would kind of be in the playoffs because they were lucky in these areas. And that's something that I would bring up and talk about. Can this just be me once? Can I have the goalie year?
Right.
That these other teams sometimes are having, and I'm being left out. Not that the Sabres were great, but they just also, all the Carter Hutton signings, none of them ever worked out. And I didn't mind the Sabres doing that when it came to goalies, because unless you have someone elite, that's really all you can do is go for guys that maybe Eric Comrie, maybe he didn't play enough. We kind of like some of the underlying stuff. We'll see. And it just never worked out. Lyon is this too. And that's worked out so far. I mean, that's what all of these moves like this were meant to give you is, maybe not exactly elite, but good enough goaltending to win with.
They are having, especially him, goals saved above expected. He rates very highly there. So they from his end, I don't know where Luukkonen is in that. I think he's decent in that, but I think Lyon has been among the league leaders all year in goals saved above expected. And much more than worrying about their shooting percentage, I would worry about that. Because I just don't think Lyon, his career doesn't tell you that he's going to sustain that for an entire season. But he's made it this far into the year. I mean, we are at 25 games left here, and he's been, again, highly rated in that area all year, and maybe he'll, get it all the way to the finish line playing that way. I certainly hope Luukkonen, we'll talk to Paul here in 45 minutes or so, and I know Luukkonen wasn't a part of the practice group today, and we'll see what the timeline is there, but I think having those two would go a long way in this stretch. Ellis has gotten them through some games, but I feel like I would want either Lyon or Luukkonen to play most of these games down the stretch for them.
I don't even know if it's really a question you can answer, but thinking about the playoffs and wanting it and missing it, what's the thing that you miss the most about it? I mean, I don't even know how you answer that. What would be the thing that you miss the most? I mean, somewhere in there for me would just be the drum beat. I mean, the anticipation of each game, and usually having 2 days, 1 day off in between games to sort of think about it, and just edge of your seat. It's so different from football. And I say that, I'm not lecturing. I'm saying that as somebody, I'm thinking some fans don't even know.
Right.
From their lives with the Sabres, what that feels like. I mean, you know it because you follow the league and can understand, but that level of obsession and tension and anxiety and excitement that you get with a playoff season, there's nothing like it.
The rhythm of it is, you just said it. There's a game on Tuesday, you got an off day on Wednesday, there's a game on Thursday, and the sort of get your breath on Wednesday, and then Thursday it's okay, what time's the bar open? Because there's a game at 7, and it's a long time ago now, right? I mean, 06, 07 is a long time ago. I remember saying then, I'm grateful for the hours we work, because I don't know what I would do with myself if I were free during the day or in the afternoon, even at 5 o'clock, even with 2 hours or 2.5 hours worth of game. I would lose my mind. At least we're here focused on doing this, having conversations with you and with our audience, and it just sort of gets me to the finish line of the game intact, with the game starting, I mean, because without it, I would be a basket case. The tension is tremendous. I love it so much. And you're right. I mean, it's been a lifetime.
2011. I mean, who was on the Bills the last time the Sabres were in the playoffs? Fitzpatrick, right? Would have been the quarterback of the Bills.
Right. Yeah.
Just so many ways to do that. They love to tell you what the number one song was. And what the top grossing box office movie was. That's what they love to do with these kinds of things, Bulldog, is they...
Mm-hmm. That's how we mark the time.
Yeah. You really don't even need any of that. I can... process 15 years, what that means. Mm-hmm. But if you want to tell me that Styx had the number one song or something, I guess that makes it better. 803-0550 is the number. All right, we've gotten around a little bit here, but the Sabres, the playoff possibilities, and just sort of dreaming about it. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, we'll look for your calls after the update. This is WGR and 107.7 and 104.7 FM.
Drama in the quarterfinals for men's Olympic hockey. 2 games already went to overtime today, and now a third may be heading there as well. Just about 30 seconds left here with the United States and Sweden, and it is tied at 1 apiece. Earlier today, as mentioned, 2 games go to overtime. Canada got the win over Czechia 4-3. Finland scored 3 unanswered to take down Switzerland 3-2. There was just 1 game that ultimately was not close, that being Slovakia handling Germany 6-2. We'll get more on the Olympic hockey and the Sabres returning to practice today. Paul Hamilton will join the show at 6. Over in the NFL, the Seattle Seahawks officially up for sale as the Paul Allen estate announced today they have commenced the formal process for that. And TMZ is reporting that the ex-girlfriend of Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is filing a lawsuit against him, which accuses Rice of choking, strangling, scratching, hitting, and headbutting her over a 19-month period. Then in college hoops, UB women, they're hosting Ball State just after 6. That game can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550, now on 104.7 and 107.7 FM.
If I were the Buffalo Bills, I would do everything in my power to go get Alec Pierce. You imagine putting him out there with that speed, help opening up everything on the middle. And one thing that you keep hearing out of Buffalo, all that talk about running the football, and it's going back to Josh Allen. Joe Brady is going to build that around Josh Allen. You need to get him a number 1 weapon, and Alec Pierce would be great in Buffalo.
Pete Prisco. I don't know. He's a relatively new, I mean, he's not a phenomenon, Pierce, but, I mean, 2 really good yards per catch years. Not a lot of catches. I mean, for a guy that cleared 1,000 yards last year, for instance, 47.
Like 47 catches for 1,000 yards?
He was big plays.
Wow.
Like that's
massive, I feel like.
I guess that's what we want. But I just know if it wasn't last year, it must have been the year before last, because we would have been drafting Alec Pierce in fantasy off of an 824-yard season. But prior to that, he was just like a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
2 seasons with the Colts that didn't amount to hardly anything. You know, plays here and there, and then bigger years, over 1,000, 1,003 last year for Indianapolis. I'll say again, my guy on ADP chasing, Jacob Sanderson, is a Colts fan and thinks, and he knows a lot. I mean, he's not somebody who's just a fan of the Colts, but his prediction is they keep Pierce and move on from Pittman, which is its own idea. We're going to overtime at the Olympics. 1-1, USA and Sweden. It was a Zibanejad goal with 1:31 left with the goalie pulled. This is 3 games in a row where a late tying goal has been scored. Canada was a little earlier than that, a couple minutes earlier than that, like 3 minutes or so. But Finland did it, and now Sweden with the goalie out. 3-on-3.
For 10 minutes.
Up to
Wouldn't
you love to see this go 10 minutes?
If it's needed. 10 minutes, yeah. Neither of the other games went very far, right? Canada was like under 2 minutes, and I think same with Finland. You were watching it, I wasn't, but I think they were pretty quick.
Yep, they're both fast.
So
Canada, Czech, it was more like Canada had a chance, Czechia had a chance, Canada scored.
Right.
It was pretty much that. Finland got a little breakaway in from the blue line to score its goal to win. Well, what do? We just sit here and look at it?
I don't know. Right.
Sweden has the puck, sports fans.
Right.
I can see
Yikes.
All the TVs in the newsroom are on this game.
Yeah.
Everybody's sort of just sitting and standing there watching it. And
Yeah.
I guess so are we.
Kind of. Yeah.
Darlene went down hard right before the goal. Brady Tkachuk, I think, took him down. He banged his head on the ice, Darlene.
And then he reached for his head with 2 hands. He lost his
head.
stick on the play, but he eventually got to the bench and then was out for he came out again for a shift at the end. In fact, he was on the ice when they tied it, I think.
He was.
He got back out there that fast. So
he was. It might have been he stayed down for a couple seconds, and it might have been one if it's not so late in the third period where they stop play.
Yeah.
But you saw him like lying on the ice in the corner. He grabbed the back of his head with both hands and stayed there for a couple of seconds as the play continued, and then he just sort of shot up I guess I better get up now.
Right. Right.
I guess it's time to get up. Well, I mean, I don't know 3-on-3. I said earlier this week. It's something, but what was so wrong about 4-on-4 and you're playing at these stakes? I don't know. In fact, my wife said, which was she? We were talking about whether this is good or bad for the underdog. And I kind of think maybe it's good because it's maybe a little bit more random.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, this was before the Canada overtime. And I also said in that conversation to her, like, oh, they also do have McDavid, McKinnon, and Makar on the ice.
Right.
So maybe you'd want to have, maybe you'd want to be the team with the best guys.
Yeah, right.
You always want to be that.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it. I got a couple of texts after that game ended from friends, hockey fans who were like, a game that good shouldn't end in a 3-on-3. And say, yeah, well, it also shouldn't end in a shootout. So thankfully, at least we got a gameplay end. But I get that. I kind of agree. I wonder, I never dug in and read enough about why they decided to do it the way they're doing it. Like is this what the IIHF wants for the Olympic Games? Is this something the Players Association wants? Does the NHL want? Like, playing 5-on-5 would be nuts. Because
I don't know.
I wonder if what the league doesn't want, and maybe even the players too, is to get their guys into, like these marathon playoff games that happen. Right? I mean, this is still an in-season tournament here. These guys have jobs. They're highly paid. Teams are invested in them. And do you want, Rasmus Dahlin, for example, playing a 5-period game at the Olympics?
With a concussion.
Right. Whatever.
Hopefully not.
So I wonder, like, who... Obviously, it's the rules. Everyone's agreed, but I wonder, like, who really wants it the most? Is it the players that don't want to be taxed? Is it the league? I don't know how much of a stake the league. The league mostly, my understanding is they have to agree to let the players go, and I think that's it. They don't have any real governing piece here, so I doubt that it's them. But it could be. I don't know why it ended up like this. It's not my favorite thing. I know that, but I would understand the point I make. I mean, I make the point, obviously I understand it, not wanting these games to go on and on and on and on. And 3-on-3 should provide you with a pretty quick end. It would be surprising if you even got to 10 minutes of one of these things.
Well, we're to 7:20 left. USA has had a few shots on goal, I think maybe 3 already in the overtime. Coupled right from the slot, right into the goalie's chest.
Yeah.
Markstrom. Will we see Thompson on the ice in a 3-on-3?
Maybe if we get past like 5 minutes of it, but I'm not optimistic about it.
They don't really use him 5-on-5 that much.
Right. I would be surprised with the amount of talent that there is there and the way he's been used so far in the tournament. I'd be very surprised if he got on the ice 5-on-5 or 3-on-3.
We just had an Eichel shift, and he got a good shot off that was stopped. Right now it's Matthews. There's Carlson for Sweden. There's that 23 again.
Lucas Raymond of the Red Wings. Yeah, he made the pass to Zibanejad for the tying goal. It was a really nice pass. All the way across the ice, I think saucered a little bit right to Zibanejad for the one-timer.
Just something about, just happened again. There's the 3-on-3, there's something about gaining the zone and then purposely leaving it.
Right.
That just does not work for me. Like, you got it. Possession is the number one. So they'll rather come out of the zone. There's the goal to win it.
Quinn Hughes.
Now we have to wait for the replays.
Let's make sure that nobody was offsides.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, there's a lot of time spent at the blue line.
Yeah, there was.
We were just talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to be funny by saying that. I mean,
it's always you can't enjoy sports anymore.
You do got to make sure.
You have to wait. Low wrist shot, glove side from the slot.
Yeah,
and he wasn't really open. He carried the puck.
Right.
Man, he's good. He's on the ice a ton.
He is fantastic. Yeah.
Americans celebrating, Swedish players, a couple of them on one knee. having just lost. Well, it looks like this is probably a good goal.
Yeah, I think so. All right, well, we're on track then. So they will play. I don't know the timing of the. I'm pretty sure the U.S. game is during our show again.
Great.
3:10, whatever day that is. Friday it must be, because tomorrow's the women's gold medal game.
And that's at 1:10.
That's at 1:10. So the U.S. will play Slovakia then, and Finland will play Canada. Those will be the semi games. Again, I'm almost sure those are Friday. And then the gold medal game, I believe I saw, is scheduled for like 8:10 a.m. Sunday morning.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect.
It's better than that.
As long as there isn't the British Open this Sunday, I think that's great.
I think we're in the clear there.
That's not this weekend?
I'm pretty sure we're in the clear there.
All right. U.S. 2, Sweden 1 in overtime. Quinn Hughes. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog will take a break. Paul Hamilton is watching and will join us just after 6. This is WGR and 107.7 and 104.7 FM. Really love hearing sneaky NFL win totals. NFL win totals. DraftKings. What am I going to say? You won't probably guess what I think. You won't guess it. Who are the two worst teams in the win? Like the two last place teams? Do you know?
I don't. I've not. I got the same text from our buddy Sammy P that you did. I've not gone looking myself, so I don't know. He sent me like a screen grab that had the Bills and a few other teams alphabetically listed, maybe.
Two teams are 4.5.
Is it, okay. Is Arizona one of them?
Yes.
Okay. That was on the screen grab, but I didn't notice it.
Arizona is one from the NFC, and there's this team from the AFC at 4.5.
Oh, well, the Jets?
Miami.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Jets 5.5.
Okay.
Both the 4.5 teams, according to this tweet that references the DraftKings list, is minus 110 both sides. So no juice yet.
Mm-hmm.
Bills at 10.5. One of 11 teams with that number. And according to what I'm looking at, they're minus 125 to the over. What I was going to say before is like Baltimore, which is one of these teams, minus 145 to the over on 10.5 wins. How do they do it? How does Baltimore always get all this respect? I mean, how have they done against their win total in the last 5 years? Maybe they're 3-2.
Yeah, maybe
against that number.
Because their good years have been very good, and they probably have gone over in their good years. But they've had probably a similar number, and some years that really kind of went off the rails.
Right. Last year they were 8-9, so that's definitely an under.
Right.
For the Ravens. 10.5. Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City, L.A. Chargers, New England. New England's 10.5 is minus 150 to the under already.
Mm.
Get ready.
That Super Bowl's sticky.
People are not that excited.
Not that impressed.
Impressed.
Bad schedule. The playoffs were relatively not challenging for them, not because they're so great, but because everybody just was inept. And there was a blizzard and just whatever. They
couple blizzards
sort of glided through there. I don't even like talking about it. I get madder. It took me until like 2 days before the Super Bowl to actually be mad about it and feel like the Bills really missed this incredible opportunity here. It took me 2 days to get, or 2 weeks almost to get there, and now every time it comes up, it feels. I don't have a good taste in my mouth.
It happened to me that one day last week, where I think I'm always this way. I rationalize losing, so it doesn't hurt more. And then once in a while, just like you just said, there comes somebody says something or you think about it a certain way and like, oh my God, what another blown opportunity, really. And I guess I didn't get right there because it was kind of a tough year. You know, they were never in first place after week 5 or whatever that was. I mean, they really struggled for their spot and had to go on the road. Like it never felt like a Super Bowl team to me. And okay, well, they lost, so I guess I was right. You know, it wasn't. Mm-hmm. But you think about what Denver and New England were. Holy cow!
And just how sloppy they were in the game, and like it just. And we did talk about this eventually, right? When the dust sort of settled, we did get around to pointing out we never really got to go through the game because of the way. By the time we were on the air, I mean, we had post game, but that's not really going through the game. That's like immediate, and it's over before you know it. And then but by the time we got on the air Monday afternoon, the McDermott had been fired, and like everything was about that. It wasn't about even Brandon Cook's play, the Allen turnovers, any decisions, anything. It was all about like, oh my God, they fired the coach. And that didn't allow for the proper amount of hand-wringing about it. And like, so now I feel like every time it comes up, I get this sort of like, I don't know. I don't like where it takes me, because from there it's very easy for me to spin off to thinking about how just sloppy the news conference, all of it. And I don't want to stay there. I don't want to stay in that spot, because that doesn't have to doom them at all. And I don't want to keep standing on that spot. But when I start thinking about the opportunity they missed, that's where I end up. I end up at, I really want to, like, how much of a game did Brandon Beane play on the owner here? Like, the owner's sitting there rattling off the seeds in some order that no one's ever, one time ever, as a sports fan, ever thought about or talked about, ever once. God, just try to come across like a normal human being one time. No. 5, 3, 2, 1. What are these? No, these are the seeds. My roster's so good. Where are the great players on this team? I just don't see. It's happening. Stop. I want to stop.
LA Rams, Detroit, Seattle, Green Bay, Philadelphia, San Francisco. Also 10.5. Paul Hamilton after sports. Thanks for joining us. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR, and 107.7 and 104.7 FM.
Olympic men's hockey go to overtime, and that includes the United States and Sweden, but the U.S. are the team that are moving on following Quinn Hughes with the game-winning goal. So U.S. and Tage Thompson will be moving on to the semis. Canada versus Finland is the first matchup. That'll be at 10:40 on Friday. U.S. versus Slovakia, 3:10 will be the other game also on Friday. In other hockey news, Sabres, they got back to practice today. We got a bit of an injury update from head coach Lindy Ruff. Zach Benson was being checked out today. He could join the group tomorrow. Josh Norris and Josh Dunn did skate today, but were both in non-contact jerseys, though depending on how today went, they could lose those as early as tomorrow. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen did skate today, should be back to practice soon. However, the bad news, Jordan Greenway is expected to be out for an extended period of time. And the Sabres Injury Report, it is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. We'll get more on the Olympics side of things and the Sabres as Paul Hamilton will join the show next. So do stay tuned for that. And then some notes in the NFL. The estate of Paul Allen announced today they have commenced the formal process of selling the Seattle Seahawks. Lions team president and CEO Rod Wood is set to retire before the start of the 2026 season, and TMZ is reporting that the ex-girlfriend of Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is filing a lawsuit against Rice, accusing him of choking, strangling, scratching, hitting, and headbutting her over a 19-month period. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550, now on 104.7 and 107.7 FM.
Great day of Olympic hockey, and there's more to come. I'd rather the women win than the men. The women play tomorrow at 1:10 USA-Canada. I'm much more invested in that now. Today was great, and I'm glad, of course, that USA got that goal to advance. Friday should be really cool. 2 games. Both games should be really cool. But that's the women's game is the one I want. It's not just.
I respect that, but they're the favorite.
They're the favorite.
So
they're a pretty big favorite, especially for that rivalry. They've probably never been this big of a favorite against Canada ever.
Almost has to be correct. Yeah.
They were a pretty good favorite today against Sweden, the men.
Yeah.
It's just, isn't this true? And let's bring Paul on for this. That you're rooting for a team, and it's almost worse. Or this is just maybe something I have to figure out myself personally. It's almost worse when you've beaten a team already, and even handily, and then you go into a rematch. They didn't have their captain in that first game, Canada. I like the quote from the Czech player today about playing Canada for the second time in the tournament, Paul. He said, we had to give them the first game because we knew we weren't going to beat them twice. He was right.
Right.
They almost beat them today.
Paul, do you remember? We were talking about this earlier because today when Canada was losing and they fell behind in the first period 2-1, it was the first time they were trailing with NHL players in the Olympic Games since the prelim game against USA, I think in 2010. What was that score? Do you remember? Did the USA beat them?
I think I do.
Comfortably, maybe like 5-2 or something.
No, I don't remember the score.
I wonder.
I remember USA won, but I don't remember.
I want to say 6-3.
Okay,
some kind of game like that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that Ryan Miller,
and then obviously overtime for the gold.
Well, Paul, what are your thoughts on today's results? I'm sure you watched some of it, if not all.
Well, the Canada game, obviously, I was out with the Sabres, so I saw very, very little of that. I had it on my phone, as I'm trying to write or, watch practice, so I might have seen a play or two, but not really too many. First of all, I think Sweden should fire their coach, Sam Hallam. This guy is a clown. I mean, again, Rasmus Dahlin did not play in overtime. What are you doing? I mean, what are you doing? You didn't learn in the Four Nations when Carlson was out there twice in overtime, played a total of, I believe, 32 seconds in 2 overtimes, and was directly responsible for 1 goal and was standing there watching the other. Guess who was standing there watching the goal today? Number 65. And number 26 never got on the ice in overtime when he basically has been, if not your best player, the guy who gets the most minutes in almost every game on defense, has had a great tournament, has produced offensively, actually had taken Carlson's place on the number 1 power play. And I thought, well, I guess he's finally getting it. And then I'm watching during the tournament Carlson and Ekman Larsson killing penalties. Are you kidding me? Really? I would put forwards out there to kill penalties before I put those two out there. And it's just like, what is this guy thinking?
I wonder, Mike noticed, I did not notice it in the course of play, and then I saw a replay of it, that Dahlin took a pretty hard hit near the end of regulation, right before Sweden tied it up, I think.
Brady Tkachuk kicked his legs out.
Yeah, and he hit his head on the ice, Paul. I don't know if did you see this? He hit his head on the ice. He was deep in the offensive zone, and he lost his stick in the collision and grabbed his head with both hands. And then he ended up getting up and then played after that very quickly. Like he got to the bench and came back out for a shift before the game ended.
He's on when they tie
it, right. And I wonder if I don't want to alarm Sabres fans, but I wonder if something happened to him there, because it is weird that he's been so prominent most of what I've watched and didn't get on the ice in a 3-on-3.
I thought Forsling and Dahlin in the Four Nations played very well together.
Yep, me too.
And then I thought, okay, well maybe he's learned, because he was getting the most ice time in many of the games for Sweden. So I thought, all right, maybe he finally figured it out. And then I'm watching these coaching decisions, scratching my head, going, I just don't know what this guy's doing. I mean, they are so. Carlson is such a hero in Sweden. I guess he's the coach's hero too, because he's got to put him out in situations he doesn't belong out in. I mean, on a power play, yes, he's still a great offensive player. But you know, you're on your heels in overtime. You got outshot 6-0. You've already cost Sweden 2 overtime games in the Four Nations, and you're gonna and he played a regular shift out there. Now Dahlin was in the handshake line, so he didn't leave the bench.
I did see that.
I think he did an interview too.
Oh, okay.
So that's a good sign.
I can't say that. Maybe he did get hurt. I don't know. I would not hope he got hurt, but that reason would make more sense.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find an explanation for it is all. Yeah.
I think the guy's an incompetent coach is the explanation.
Yeah.
And, you know, Carlson and Hedman are these, you know, icons in Sweden, and so they're going to play no matter what, I guess. Hedman not so much in this tournament because he's coming off injury, but in the last one, and I just don't get it. I really don't.
Well, how about Team USA?
Yeah, I mean, persevered. Hellebuck, just like the Four Nations, and I said this then too, I still truly believe the reason he has problems in the playoffs with the Winnipeg Jets is because of the amount of games he plays by the end of the year. And then I just don't think he has any gas left, you know, for the Winnipeg Jets in the playoffs. We're still in February here, and I think he still has gas in the tank. And, you know, Markstrom made some really good saves in overtime. You know, a one-timer, I believe, on Eichel.
Mm-hmm.
I think he made another one on Matthews, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, had to make 6 saves to none at the other end for Hellebuck. But Hellebuck had to make saves, too, along the way. And, you know, only gave up 1 goal, and I think has done a good job in this tournament. But this certainly isn't on the goaltenders, you know, watching this hockey game. And I think they both came to play. I think Sweden at least did make the right goaltending decision to start Markstrom. He wasn't the starter in the first 2 games, but Sweden, I don't think, was delighted with their goaltending, and they made the switch. And obviously, I think that was the right decision for them in this. And, you know, Hellebuck, again, has done the job for Team USA.
I suspect that I'm going to get an answer that's going to lead to behind the bench again when I ask you what you think of the way Tage Thompson is being used here. I mean, obviously that's a coach's decision, and I haven't seen the ice times yet from this game. I know he was on the ice for the goal they scored in regulation, and right at the goal mouth when Larkin tipped that point shot in. but he's been playing like 9 minutes a game basically through the tournament on the power play, and he scored 2 power play goals, so I think that keeps him in the lineup. But as far as forwards go, he's at the very, very low end of usage.
Yeah, he is. And I don't think it's anything on Thompson. I don't think that the U.S. thinks Thompson is playing poorly or anything like that. I just think that it's
he's outranked.
Just say it. The New York Ranger coach trying to get his New York Rangers into the lineup, and you can dress an extra forward and an extra defenseman, and they do. And the extra guy has been either Miller the first game and then Trocheck after that, and he is just bound and determined that he's going to get his guys in there. And it's that line. He targeted Thompson the first 2 times, and then the next shift it was Connor that he sat. And while Keller is sitting in the press box, I'm scratching my head about that, going, why? But he was. And then Keller gets in, but all right, now you're going to send Connor to the press box. Not the 2 Rangers who actually should be sitting at home, not in your press box. They shouldn't even have a uniform on. And so it has nothing to do with Thompson. It has more to do than, the New York Rangers GM put them on the team, and now the New York Rangers coach is going to make sure that the 2 of them get their ice time, no matter how he does it. And that's the way it goes.
Send them home and make them watch from a press box in an empty building. There. Double penalty.
That'll learn them.
That's right.
I don't mean send them home. I mean they should have been home to start with.
Right. Leave them home and make them watch the games from a press box somewhere.
Give me Cole Caulfield or whatever. There's
Probably
a
I'd go
list.
with Robert. Robertson's a better 2-way player.
Yeah, okay.
But still, yeah. So I just want to stress, I really don't think it has anything to do with Thompson, and it has everything to do with Trocheck and Miller.
Yeah, well, at least he's, like I said, he has scored the goals. So I wouldn't expect him to be in any trouble moving into now the semifinals on Friday, and hopefully what we've all been waiting for is, at least speaking for myself, is a Canada-U.S. showdown Sunday morning. In the gold medal game. Paul, you said, just switching off of this game, I know you didn't have eyes on a lot of the Canada game, but I've seen you retweeting the go-ahead goal that Czechia scored in the third period. And I did not know this until I found out listening to Brad and Owen before our show. I heard Owen mention that they had 6 guys on the ice for that play. Yeah. And not only was it 6 guys on the ice, it was like 6 guys in their own zone defending, basically, and then all 6 guys went up the ice and celebrated the goal ultimately. Like, nobody thought, I better get to the bench. And what I've not seen or heard, it doesn't matter now because Canada won the game in overtime. They tied it and then won it in overtime, so spilled milk, I guess, right? But holy cow, was Canada up in arms? Was anybody yelling? Like, usually, you've been in rinks, even in NHL games with crowds, you hear a commotion on the opposing bench when there's too many men on the ice. And I can't believe that went by for the amount of time that it went by and nothing got called. It was incredible.
I would imagine there was commotion. Again, I didn't see it live.
Right.
I saw what I retweeted where it was 6 guys were in the play. It wasn't like the too many men you get sometimes where you're making a change and some guy gets the puck hit his skate as he's leaving and it winds up too many men. It was like 6 guys were in the zone.
Yeah, and nobody was acting like, oh, God, I better get off. Like, they just were playing.
And I can't imagine everybody on the U.S. bench would have been oblivious to it.
Canada, you mean? Yeah.
Or the Canada bench would be oblivious to it. I just
That's the key. That's the key to getting away with it. Like, when you're maybe at a game or something, but you're not supposed to be in a certain area, but you look like you belong there. You just sort of keep your eyes focused straight ahead, or wear a tie to a baseball game. They're going to let you go anywhere with a tie on. You're probably the assistant GM. So here are the Czech guys. I respect it. Just what do you mean? Deny. I'm out here. What do you mean? There are 6 of us. If I were you, I'd count again.
That's how we play.
Go for 7.
We always do this. What are you talking about?
How do you think we scored? I mean,
right.
Give us a break here.
Yeah.
By the way, you were talking about Thompson in the goal. What I liked about the Larkin goal is Thompson was headed to the net.
Right.
I mean, he was right there right at the net. So had Larkin made the deflection and it hit the pad, he would have been right there.
Right. Markstrom could have made a save and you got an easy tap in.
Yeah, he was right where he needed to be, which I liked.
He was trying to separate from a defenseman, sort of turning around to be available for a rebound there as the puck went in. Were the players today talking about the Olympics? And if not, what was the conversation like?
Well, one player would be talking about it, and that's Josh Dunn, who I learned today. I didn't realize his girlfriend plays on Team Canada.
Right, I'd heard
Shelton.
that, yeah.
I had to go scrambling to see who's his girlfriend. And it's Ella Shelton they went to the same college together. So that's where they met. And she's on Team Canada. And Joy, his sister, is on Team USA. He did go to Italy and saw 3 games during the break. So that's nice that he made it there and got to see his girlfriend and his sister play. And he said he was at the first Canada-US game. And as I was looking up his girlfriend, I saw a video of his dad calling him Benedict Arnold. Because, he's going to sit with us, the Team USA section, but Benedict Arnold's going to show up here. I guess he didn't like his, cheering for his girlfriend, too. It was pretty funny.
Joy Dunn, his sister, has scored in the tournament. I'm not sure how many, but she scored pretty early on.
And she plays professionally in Minnesota in the Women's Professional League.
We got about 5 minutes here left, Paul, at the most. Just everybody's back. Not everybody's back, but many of the players are back. You've got some injury updates for us, I'm sure.
Yeah, Lindy Ruff went through a big injury update. He said Luukkonen skated this morning, and he said he's within days of joining them. Benson was getting further evaluation today. I was wondering if maybe he was trying to get clearance from the doctor because, as Ruff put it, he's getting further evaluation today. We'll find out whether he joins us tomorrow or not. So that kind of indicates to me he was trying to get maybe final approval to be in practice. Greenway, Ruff's quote was he's trying a different type of treatment. He'll be out a period of time, and we'll see if it works and he can get back. And they're not putting a time frame on that. Timmins and Danforth are both skating, both progressing, but they both are still going to be a period of time before they return. And Kulik, it's a protocol for blood clots that he's under. He said Kulik will be evaluated again in early March, and then they'll use that evaluation to see where they're going from here. We'll see. He said we'll see if he can move forward with the protocol or needs to stay where he is with the protocol. But that seems to be coming in early March to see where that goes.
And what about Norris or Dunn? Were they in different colored jerseys?
They were, and Ruff said if they got through today, they will ditch those colored jerseys and have regular jerseys on tomorrow. So if they both got through and they both spoke after practice, they both seemed fine. It seems like they're pretty much okay. And as the week progresses, they probably are going to be in full practice. They did a lot of competing drills today, quite honestly. I saw Norris in those, so I know he had a different color jersey on, but it seemed to me like he was basically doing everything in practice. So, he looked pretty good, and we'll see where Benson's doctor's appointment took him.
The red jerseys don't have numbers on the back, do they?
No, they take the names and numbers off after training camp. We get to see names and numbers through prospects camp and training camp, and then once the season starts, no more numbers, no more names. You just I'm because I get this in play-by-play too. I know who shoots left, who shoots right. I really don't need numbers. I can figure out who's who rather quickly.
Yeah.
Basically, with the way they shoot and their mannerisms, it's rare that I can't figure out who somebody is without numbers on, just because you see them enough that you just know what their mannerisms are.
Sure. You know these guys individually, too.
They move around the ice, right?
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. And you always know who can shoot right. A young broadcaster or young journalist, that's what I tell them. I said, well, learn who shoots left and who shoots right. I said, you'll basically know who folks are once you get that down.
One of these days, they should try to mix it up on you.
Change hands.
How
There's never been a switch hitter.
How adept would most hockey players be at shooting from the other side?
Shooter.
Well, we're always talking about which goaltender of the three has his own net the day before the game, and he's probably the starter, which he always is. Lindy could switch that up one day and put the starter in with the other goalie and have us all reporting who we think the starting goalie is and be wrong.
Well, I may or may not look forward to that day. We'll see if it ever comes. Paul,
thanks. It once on purpose, quickly.
Did he?
In warm-up, he switched the lines around and then had different lines to start the game and basically did it on purpose.
I mean, you need things like that in life to keep life interesting. Just mix it up. Thanks for your time, Paul.
Take care, guys.
All right, it's Paul Hamilton on the Wester Hotline. His appearances brought to you by Equitable Advisors. Planning for your future is about more than just money. Let Equitable be your guide. And by Relax Honda. Relax, we got this.
I mean, how good would the average NHL player be at shooting right-handed if he shoots left-handed? I mean, it wouldn't be your stick. So you'd have somebody else's stick. And would it just be like, you could tell if they were...
Yeah, yeah. I mean, some guys are more adept than others. I mean, I've been lucky enough to play golf with Lindy Ruff once, and halfway through the round, he started playing left-handed. Like he has some left-handed clubs in his bag, and he just starts hitting left-handed, and there's really not a noticeable drop-off. So like he's a player that maybe could have switched hands with his hockey stick and maybe not have it be as noticeable. But holy cow, I know I couldn't ever shoot right-handed with a hockey stick.
Yeah, it would just be so weird.
Just very, very strange.
I wouldn't want to have, if I were on the Sabres, a red jersey with my number on it. Like if every player had their own numbered red jersey for when they were hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a bad omen. I don't want that hanging in my locker or even being. Right. I don't even want that in the back.
It sounds a little too much of a commitment to being injured.
Yeah, just no numbers on the injury jerseys.
Yeah.
Earlier, Chris Trapasso joined us to talk NFL draft. We'll have that conversation for you next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR and 107.7 and 104.7 FM.